Mm-mm-mm-mm. Testing, testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Hello, hello. Is there anybody out there? Oh my goodness, man. I woke up this morning and I was just like, I don't want to go live today. Not gonna lie, it was one of those mornings. But then I woke up a little bit more and I was like, yeah, I guess we'll just commit, commit and go. Because man, I was just feeling so tired this morning. I woke up, felt like, felt like, felt like poop, just mentally and tired, man. Just tired. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing? Hello, hello. Welcome to the stream. Question for me. Weather lately, it's crazy. Yeah, it kind of is. Just been really active, for sure. Not well here. Yeah, you're in a severe thunderstorm warning, Hannah. 7.75 inches, penny-sized hail, and some max wind gusts of up to 65 miles per hour is possible there. Yeah, temperature fluctuations and oscillations. I honestly don't even know how that's possible. That is an atmospheric phenomenon I've never heard of, but it's something that I'm definitely going to try to learn about a little bit more because I mean, whatever that is, if it's possible, that's really weird to me. Also, let me set the scene up as well. Since we're here, and then no, that's not right. Oh, okay, it's not showing up. Hold on. Could be that, right? Nope. Okay. Hold on. There it is. Okay. Bottom up. There we go. All right. So that's all set up. Perfect. 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 Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Hopefully, everybody's doing all right. You're in Maryland. Watch the stream. You've learned a lot about the weather. Thanks. Yeah, no problem. Absolutely no problem. Y'all getting tired of me yet? Y'all been seeing me every day almost for the last month. Surely my joke styles are getting old. I'm getting tired of me. I'm getting tired of hearing my own voice. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what's happening out there. So we got a tornado watch out here for Tyler, Longview, Springs, Texarkana, Springs, Wilburton, Fort Townsend, Broken Bow, Idabel, Patal, Havener here in Oklahoma, parts of Texas, and going into Arkansas. This tornado watch also includes just east of Dallas. And the reason why they haven't put one or pulled the trigger on one over here near Dallas and Fort Worth, because there's still a lot of questions. Still a lot of questions. And let me try to answer some of those questions and give my thoughts on what is possible today. So if we come over here to our surface observations, you can see that we do have a lot of decent little dew points out there. We also have plenty of instability where the leading edge of this mesocyclone is. You can see on a broad scale, definitely looking land hurricane-ish again. It's just kind of been the pattern we've been stuck in. These little land hurricanes just keep forming, bringing in some damaging winds and also that brief tornado threat. And yeah, so you see the bottom of this is pretty much just north of Texas. And the big question mark is that going to lift back up to the north a little bit, allowing for more moisture to build in over there near Fort Worth and Dallas? Or is it going to stay, kind of relatively, if that sinks to the south into Fort Worth and Dallas, that boundary, that cold air, it's going to be hard for the severe weather threat, or at least the peak of the severe weather threat, to happen today. We do have a low pressure system back over here in our upper levels, very broad, not really much of a closed low. You can see that we do have flow aloft hitting this thing right now. And then we also, in our lower levels, have some lower level winds that are just now nudging into the area. And so those are coming out of the south of the north. So that should try to keep this boundary kind of just north of the DFW area. But again, if this cold pull wins out that fight in between the winds coming out of the south and that warmth and moisture, and it doesn't, and it sinks all the way, if you guys start getting a lot of rain in the Fort Worth and Dallas area, which you're almost getting right now, there is still a chance that that could clear out and then the atmosphere could recover. But this MCS is kind of throwing a little wrench into the forecast. It wasn't really forecasted that well, and also the position where that boundary is setting up wasn't really forecasted that well. So we have a big question marks out here. If these winds coming out of the south, going up to the north, can keep that boundary north of Fort Worth and Dallas, is going to be a pretty dangerous day over there. Because again, we go throughout the day, you can see those 40 to 35 mile per hour, 30 to 45 mile per hour winds trying to make it up all the way up into the DFW area. That's that wind shear on the lower levels. That's going to cause a lot of spin in the atmosphere. But if we come over here and look at our radar right now, you can see that boundary is pretty much situated right up in here, that outflow boundary with this mesocyclone. And it's coming dangerously close to sinking all the way through Fort Worth, Arlington, and Dallas. Now, if it does sink down to the south, I think the main threat for the Fort Worth and Dallas area is going to be, that flooding. Maybe throughout the day there is, a point to make that we might see a recovery of the atmosphere, but most likely not. Most likely not. I don't think that's really going to happen. I think if this cold air pushes past Fort Worth and Dallas, that's going to be it for today. And then back up here, further up to the north, you can see we got our little land hurricane happening up here. And I think a tornado threat will exist with this as well. Just the vorticity that's going to be located in and along the leading edge of these, mesocyclones. We're probably going to see, some spin ups start to happen. And we're already seeing some broad circulation out there over there near Lowicum and just to the north and west of McAllister. None of them are tight circulations or concerning circulations at this moment. But again, there is going to be plenty of instability throughout the day for these storms to tap in. Now, if this thing becomes cold outflow dominant or cold pool dominant, that's going to shunt this storm's ability to tap into this moisture. But you can see throughout the day, at least the models for now are saying that it's not going to become cold air dominant. It's going to be continuing throughout the day to kind of stay in that warm air. And so it's really looking like a threat here for Arkansas, southeastern Oklahoma, northeastern Texas, and potentially even Louisiana as we go into the nighttime. And maybe it ends up over there near like Mississippi and Tennessee. So those are my thoughts for right now. Just kind of adapting. This forecast was issued not too long ago, but things change, and you got to kind of adapt to what you see, and then go from there. And so, as you can see, we do have an enhanced risk still out there. Huge question marks. Whether or not this will actually materialize today, especially with that boundary so far south all together. Again, it's only going to take about another 50 to 100 miles shift down to the south, and then that's going to really shunt the ability for any really significant severe weather to happen in the DFW area. So huge question marks there. It's still possible. Again, that those winds are going to be coming out of the south and east. That could keep the boundary at bay, not really moving much to the north or to the south throughout the morning. But, still huge question marks on how that's going to play out. Now, I would say this corridor right here, where our tornado watch is at the moment, maybe a little bit further to the east, is probably going to be our most guaranteed tornado threat and damaging wind threat of the day. Also, we do have a little bit of a slight risk up here in St. Louis and Evansville, and that's probably going to be for, there's still a little bit of a boundary there. We could get some storms form on that. Our tornado risk for today, as you can see, we now have a strong tornado risk out here. That's going to be for Cleburne, Waxahachie, Mansfield, Dallas, Irving, Plano, McKinney, Greenville, Corsicana, Tyler, Texas, Longview, Texas, Gilmer, Lone Star, Mount Pleasant, Clarksville, Texas, Paris, Texas, and then over here into Idaho or into Oklahoma. Geez Louise. They're near Idabel, Horatio, Texarkana as well are all going to be in that strong tornado risk. And then we've got a 5% around that. So that's going to be from Killeen all the way up into Hot Springs, Shreveport, Fort Smith, Russellville, Little Rock, over here near Ardmore, Durant, Wilburton, Patow, Havner, Pecola as well. And then back up here to the north, We're going to have a little boundary set up over here where possible MCS is going to be possible throughout the day. Let's go see what we see on the radar right now. Yeah, you can see there is some cooler air in the area. Might see some storms eventually develop in and along this region. And if it does, we could potentially see the chances of that tornado risk actually being realized. But again, today's a mesoscale day. A lot of things can happen that are going to be a little bit different than what the forecasts are going to say. So just be weather aware, regardless of whether or not you are in any of these tornado risks today. Remember, yesterday we had Springfield barely in a 2%, and then they got really strong weather event happen there. So I don't think today's going to be as complex as yesterday, where we get a lot of crazy things happening all over the place. It's a little bit less widespread, a little bit more focused of a threat, but still, if you're out there, just be weather aware if you're in any of these tornado risks. Also, back over here near Dallas, and also going into Arkansas, I think I think we could, maybe add. I don't even know what kind of color you would put here, but like it's like a hatched risk, a low end hatched risk. If this MCS does tap into that instability and that cold pool surges, we could get those PDS significant wind event with this mesocyclone. That's always going to be possible when you have these MCSs, which is like the little spirally thing that we're seeing here on radar. This, it's got that cold pool wave surging off to the east, that warm air kind of wrapping around cooler air circulating with that, and then that pushes off to the east, and you can get those cold pool surges. You can get those significant winds, even though there's not really much of a risk for that right now. So it's a little bit conditional, but still there. And then also we have 15% chance for some damaging winds all the way from Lubbock into Shreveport, and then back over here near St. Louis and Louisville. And then our hail threat should be the biggest thing today in the Fort Worth and Dallas area. But again, if that boundary sinks south of Fort Worth and Dallas, it's going to be really hard to get those strong storms with the very large hail inside of it. So still some big question marks exactly how this threat is going to play out today. But regardless, if you're in any of these severe weather areas, I would just be weather aware. This is where some weird storms could happen. A little bit of shenanigans, a little bit of weather shenanigans could be possible. And thank you, Anthony, for the $1. I do appreciate that. And thank you, Dave, for for gifting a membership as well. I saw something else. Thank you, Megan, for the $2 too. Thank you. But yeah, that's what we're talking about right there. Let's bring up Radar Omega and just kind of go over our timing for today. That off for now. All right, so as you can see, we're going to have this little MCS, and you can already see that our latest HRRR is kind of not really getting this very well. It's a little bit more, the boundary's a little bit more like this. HRRR has it more perpendicular to that area. So it's already kind of underestimating the southern extent of that boundary right now. So this is just going to kind of be a general guide throughout the day. If we do get stronger storms in the Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas area, it's probably going to start at around 11 to 12 p.m. and that's going to push off to the east by 4 p.m. We're going to have some stronger storms potentially in Arkansas. I do think that can happen a little bit earlier, just given the fact that our furthest extent up here into the Oklahoma area is already pushing into Arkansas at the moment. So, or not pushing in, but getting a little bit closer than what the model is saying. You can see it brings it all the way back here at this moment. It's already back over in this region. So it's it's about an hour and a half behind. So probably at around 2:30 p.m., we're going to be seeing some storms near Fort Smith and Mena, Hatfield, DeQueen, and eventually that is going to push throughout the Arkansas area with a damaging wind threat, potentially making it all the way to Pine Bluff, maybe all the way into eastern Arkansas with still, some decent, maybe some tornado chances, maybe some large hail chances, some damaging wind chances, make it into Tyler, Texas, Shreveport by around in between 8 and 10 p.m. And then College Station might have a little bit of a flooding issue there if that rain really sticks around for that long in College Station before this boundary really starts to push off to the east. And so a lot of little things are possible here with our storm. It's going to be kind of one of those days that it's just up in the air. I would say today's threat is certainly not a guaranteed threat by any means, but it is a day where you want to be weather aware, just in case stuff starts happening. That's kind of my thoughts, and that's why we're live, just in case stuff starts happening. did the NWS evaluate damage around Springfield yet? Let me check. Damage. They're probably in the process of it. Yeah, looks like they already have some stuff out there. It looks like we had a EF1 tornado here south of Aurora. Wind speeds of around 90-mile-per-hour winds. And then we had another, oh wow, we had an EF0 over here north of Nixa. It's a really brief tornado, 85 miles per hour, which is interesting because our winds were around that strength yesterday. So, like we were talking about yesterday, as the damaging winds come through, all these tornadoes are really going to do are just add a little bit of extra wind to the wind threat, and that's about 5 miles per hour above where the winds already were. And in fact, we even got winds higher than that in some of these storms. But yeah, it looks like we have 2 confirmed tornadoes so far, but I'm sure they're still assessing damage. It usually takes a while for all that to get analyzed there. Pittsburgh had a lot of damage and 2 people were killed. Oh my goodness! And that was a strong storm in Pittsburgh. My goodness. For Springfield, I guess I would say it's possible if this low pressure system can meander all the way up there. It certainly will be possible. Just depends on how it goes throughout the day. I mean, I guess there's an argument to be made that this could underperform. It's kind of hard to tell. Thank you, Hickory Chip, for the 2. I do appreciate that. Thoughts on the slight risk for Ohio? Bro, I ain't got no thoughts on it. I'm not looking past the day anymore. My brain just does not have the capability. Besides doing live forecasts, I am just too tired. I mean, we can look at the outlook, but I don't have any thoughts specifically on it. But yeah, we've got a slight risk all the way from Austin, San Antonio through Shreveport, the Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Cleveland, going all the way up into New York. If I had to guess, that's going to be after this little low pressure system that's bringing in that flow loft down in this region. As that lifts up to the north and east, that's probably going to bring that flow loft all the way up into here, causing some forcing, lifting up some storms, bringing a chance for some severe weather. As of right now, we don't really have any elevated probabilities with this, but as April has gone so far, that'll probably change into like an enhanced risk tomorrow. Something will happen in the models overnight, and where that just completely doesn't do anything. Or I mean, completely like changes somehow, some way. So I'm just not really focused on forecasting. I'm just focused on nowcasting. Latest scans out over here in the Fort Worth and Bedford area. Irving, Dallas, Mesquite, Garland, Plano, Cedar Hill, Burleson. We do have some storms out over here. They're still not mature, and that boundary is still setting up just into North Texas. Just into North Texas. Again, if this boundary goes, if we get a boundary to go all the way down to here, then that's going to shunt the severe weather threat for the Fort Worth and Arlington area. So we shall see what ends up actually happening. But a lot of rain, a lot of thunder is happening in the Fort Worth and Dallas area. What about Flint, Texas? Where's Flint? Flint, Texas. Yeah, Flint, Texas is over there into the tornado watch. Eventually, as this slowly meanders off to the east, we are expecting a reinvigoration of our line's intensity, and that will eventually go just south of Tyler. And thank you, Bailey, for the 5. I appreciate that. Your dad's driving from Nashville to southeastern Missouri through Arkansas. How's the tornado risk looking? Southeastern Missouri into Arkansas. It just depends on where they're going in here. They're going to have a pretty decent amount of time. It's really going to be whenever this cold pool decides to surge. It's just kind of locking and loading. That cold air is building up. Eventually, it's going to really release that, and we're going to start to see that damaging wind threat and tornado really start to accelerate into the region. But for now, It's a little bit. Stationary, moving pretty slow. If we come over here to our special weather statement, you can tell these storms are moving at 30 miles per hour. That's not going to be enough to outrun its cold pool. So which essentially is, a lot of rain falls and that cools down the atmosphere and you get a cold pool form behind the storms. And so you can see that there is precipitation making it out in front of it. They're probably going to need to hit about 40 to 50 miles per hour in forward speed to outrun that cold pool. So eventually, that cold air is just going to continue to build, and then eventually it's going to reach a critical mass and then surge, push all these storms off to the east, and then that's when a damaging wind threat and tornado threat will really start to pick up. You can really see if we come over here to and just kind of loop it. It kind of looks like a little bit of a land hurricane, doesn't it? A little bit of a land hurricane. See if Radar Omega has any cameras in the Dallas area. They got one. What is this? The sensor, not a camera. It's down. No cameras in the Dallas area. Probably not much to see, anyways. I'm sure it just looks like a gray mass. Gray mass there. You might be able to get an eye on some of these storms, though, near McAllister off of I-40. Let me see if I can get that set up. Checking on these storms. As soon as they come into Arkansas, we've got a quite the expansive traffic camera network in that area. It's one camera. It's interesting with all the severe weather that Oklahoma gets. Well, there's one over here. This one could be close to something. Let's see what it's looking like out there. Kind of just looks rainy. Thank you, Angels, for the 2. Thank you so much. What's the likelihood of Rockwall getting hit? I'm guessing that's Rockwall, Texas. Yeah. It's kind of there, but you're like right on that line, right? Again, we're either going to get a bunch of storms that start to pile up here, which we're already starting to see try to happen back over here. We're going to start to see a couple of storms start to fire in this region. But wherever that boundary sets up is where that most northern extent of those storms will be. And so, as long as these storms stay to your north, you're probably going to have, you're probably going to get hit by, something pretty severe, as we go throughout the day. Just really depends. You think DFW will see strong tornadoes? I honestly can't tell you the answer to that, and nobody can. It's really hard to predict, just how much or where this outflow boundary is going to go, because essentially we have a lot of cold air in here. And we only have like 1 or 2 like weather stations out here measuring what's happening back here. Our models have to like bridge the gap and just guess what's happening. And so it's really hard to tell, just how much this will surge. Again, if all this rain here continues to sink down into like Arlington, down into Mansfield, and we see this little thing of rain, non-severe, come all the way down here before anything, bigger can form to its south, then we're probably not going to see much. We do have a little storm trying to sneak in there, though, over here near Forest Hill in the Fort Worth area, near Hatton City and Richland Hills. Maybe a brief hail threat before that crosses up into that mass of rain over there. But yeah, I mean, that's what we're going to be watching for. We have a little bit of an upper level low back here that's going to be bringing some winds out of the south, and it's going to be a battle between that cold pool and that warm and moist air coming out of the Gulf of Mexico. And wherever that decides, whichever one wins the battle will really determine what's going to happen here for the Fort Worth and Dallas area. So it's a really, really conditional day. Really conditional day. That's why it's just best to be weather aware. Nothing happens. Awesome. If something happens, at least the possibilities, that boundary stays up here, we could see strong tornadoes within the Fort Worth and Dallas area and large to very large hail. Yeah, if you're scared the wind's going to blow over a tree near your window, just get to the most interior portion of your house. Also, we just got a severe thunderstorm warning out over here south of McAllister. That's going to be has a tornado possible tag and a 60-mile-per-hour wind warning on it for Pine Top, Tie, Counts, Weathers here in Oklahoma. Need to get my warnings sounds back up. Where's that? Oh, there it is. Okay. That. There we go. Friend lives in Montgomery, Alabama, so you wanted to know she's safe. Yeah, I mean, outlooks for tomorrow, a little bit of a severe weather threat here in the Alabama area. Looks like Montgomery's going to be out of it for tomorrow, but today they're not even close to that threat. To today's threat. Is it just me or is he cutting out? I hope it's just you. I really hope it's just you. I don't know. Honestly, everybody let me know if I'm cutting out on your side. Could just be your internet. Should be. I mean, I actually remembered to plug in my computer directly to the Wi-Fi. Sound is clear. Stream works fine. Awesome. We are good. Good to go. What should we expect in Houston? That's an interesting question. A little bit of a severe threat over there near Houston. Probably just a marginal chance for some wind and some hail. Pretty much a non-existent chance for tornadoes. That'll happen later on today. Bring up our models. These models are going to be wrong, just letting you guys know. They're already kind of off already, but eventually we could get a boundary that sinks all the way down into Houston. There could be some, decent storms in there, but that's not going to be until about 3 a.m. So they should be pretty much cold pool dominant, cold air dominant, which, warm air dominant storms are the ones you should be scared of. Cold air dominant usually aren't nearly as bad. So, yeah, looks like right around 3 a.m. is when your threat's going to start over there near Houston. Not as clear, but no glitch. Yeah, check to see, just make sure that your video quality is up. And if your stream quality is choppy, just hit the refresh button. That should fix it. Is it true if you hear thunder or lightning, there's a chance you can get struck? Yeah, yeah. Sometimes, it depends on the kind of storm and what kind of lightning is inside of it. There are storms that do cloud to cloud lightning, where a storm will strike lightning out into a cloud, off into like above the ground. There's cloud to ground lightning, and sometimes sometimes you get a little bit of a mixture. And when you get a little bit of a mixture of that cloud to cloud to cloud to ground lightning, you can get lightning strike pretty far away from where it originated from. And so yeah, if you can hear it, even if it's not that loud, I mean, your chances of getting struck by lightning, like let's say you're right over here where these lightning bolts are, right? Say you're right here. Like lightning bolts, when they hit, like their damage radius to like people is like, unless you're like standing in water, but if you're not standing in water, the damage radius is like 10 feet, right? And we've had 3 lightning bolts over here, all occupying little 10-foot areas of damage. And so even if you're like standing right next to this lightning bolt, you're going to be scared because it was loud, but you didn't get hit. It's actually really unlikely to get hit by a lightning bolt, even if you're in like a strong thunderstorm. But it's always best to be indoors, because if you do, you're dead, or at least knocked out. Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, YouTube, I don't know, surprisingly, for it being like the king of live streams, surprisingly, YouTube is really struggling with all of that. This is weather-wise. This app is weather-wise. Thoughts on Richardson, Texas? Sure. Richardson, Texas. Yeah, I mean, same thing. Like, guys, if you live near Dallas, if you live within a 25-mile radius of Dallas and Fort Worth, Texas, everything that I'm about to say here goes for you. So if I've answered questions about Dallas and Fort Worth, it's going to be the same thing over there in Garland, Balch Springs, Cedar Hill, Mansfield, Burleson. The real thing is that we just don't know what's going to happen over here. It really just depends on where this boundary sets up. If it stays put and leaves enough time for that instability to come up and that lower level shear to push in, with some storms maturing, then we're going to have a dangerous day out here. But if not, and that boundary sinks south of Fort Worth and Dallas, we're pretty much not going to see anything in this area. And that goes for Mansfield. That goes for not just the little city of Dallas. That goes for everybody in this region. Everybody. Mansfield, Cedar Hill, Balch Springs, Hutchinson, Lancaster, Wilmer, Garland, Richardson, Addison, Farmers Beach. Your forecast is not going to change significantly whatsoever, outside of a 25-mile radius from Dallas. It's all going to be the same thing. But yeah, I mean, regardless, if you live in these areas, just be weather aware today. There's totally a chance where all you see is a crap ton of rain and some lightning. But there's also a chance that you get a crap ton of large hail and maybe a couple of tornadoes. Some of those could be strong.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
A new tornado warning has been issued here near Oklahoma. This is going to be a side lobe mess. We must have some sort of weather spotter on here. Yeah, I mean, from radar, I can't get much data from this. Unfortunately, this is in the middle of a radar hole, which is probably why they've thrown a tornado warning on this, just to be cautious, because our radars just aren't showing anything of help. And maybe somebody reported what might have been like a scud cloud, and maybe it's a real funnel. Who knows? But regardless, whenever you get in a radar hole, you're just not going to know what's going to be happening. But if you live over here near Soper, you guys need to be in your safe spots. See if I can get some more information on this. But as far as I know, I haven't seen any photos out of this storm. So let me search. Tornado, Oklahoma. Yeah, I'm not seeing any photos of this storm yet. Fortunately, this is deep in a radar hole. We are just not going to be able to tell you what this storm is doing at the surface. So if you live in Soper, just be in your safe spots until the storm is past. That's pretty much all it is. Let's see. Storms near Stephenville are starting to ramp up a bit. All right, thank you. Thoughts on Sherman, Texas? Same thing about Dallas and Plano. I will say it does seem like Sherman is north of the boundary. So now that you've gotten all that rain, probably won't see much in terms of even more dangerous severe weather. Do I see any rotation near the Fort Worth and Dallas area? Let me check. Not really. Yeah, I'm not seeing any rotation over there. And it sucks that, a lot of our tornado threat is going to be in the middle of a tornado hole or a radar hole. I will say, at least further up to the north, there are some broader areas of circulation now with this storm, just to the east of Kiowa. Another one over here near Alderson, and another one north of that. But they're broad, not really concerning. But unfortunately, maybe if we extrapolate what we're seeing up here all the way down here, that'll help a little bit. But as you can see, I mean, this radar signal is just absolutely garbage. And so we're just not going to really be able to tell what's happening with it.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
New tornado warning has been issued down over here as well, north of Paris, Texas. Again, same story. Radar signal is absolutely garbage. It seems like there might be some rotation over here, but also, we're looking, let's see. Yeah, 16,000 feet into the atmosphere. So we're only seeing the storm middle way up. But again, just continue to be in your safe spots in this area until further notice, until we know the storms are past you. Because again, because of our radar hole, we're just not going to be able to tell what is happening with this. Let me see if I can get that Durant radar up. Durant radar actually might be why they're warning these storms, like an app. I won't be able to show you guys, but let me see here. Durant weather radar. And according to the Durant weather radar, just east of Durant, these storms do have kinks in them. The one up here in like the Oklahoma border really doesn't have much going on. This one right here doesn't really have much going on, but the ones to the south definitely has a kink in it and maybe a little bit of rotation there. That is just north and east. North and east, or just north of Petty. There actually is a little bit of rotation near the surface. And that's like right up in this area here in the Durant radar. Let me see if I can get that up on a browser mode. Durant weather radar. Gave me a shout out yesterday. Yeah, I heard. Adam, he's a good guy. Cannot wait until he releases his virtue weather thing. That thing's going to be awesome. All right. So we also just got a new update here on our severe thunderstorm warning up here. Tornado possible. Max wind gusts of up to 60 miles per hour. That's going to be heading towards Eufaula, Quinton, Will, Burton. Guys all need to be indoors and away from windows. Got an area of rotation here. Another one off to its north and west. Also keeping an eye on those areas. A couple of areas of rotation here along a leading edge here near Wilburton, Clinton, Eufaula. So if any of those tighten up, we're probably going to get tornado warnings up there as well. It's major thanks and appreciation. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, no problem. I will let you guys know me streaming this much is slowly driving me mad, but I'm going to keep doing it as long as I'm mentally capable. Will this storm impact Tulsa, or will it die out before it's here? It looks like you guys are on the cold side of this storm, but yeah, there might be an argument to be made that like Eastern Tulsa might get something out of this. $55,000 cloud tops near Hugo, Oklahoma. Gotcha. Let me check our latest on our Durant radar. Yeah, I mean, the good news is that it's mainly just a kink here. As far as I can tell, I am not seeing any like strong areas of circulation where the storm is right now. It is pretty much right on the Oklahoma. It's right where this little part is here. I can show you guys. It looks like this. Not that that helps you guys very much, but it's as you can tell, it's a lot higher resolution. It's a radar out of Durant. It's like a private radar though, so stupidest thing I've ever heard. Private radar, only to the Durant area, but yeah, it's not really showing too much there. Like there's a little bit of rotation there, but essentially mostly what it's showing here is that we got a little bit of a gust front here. Got to watch that northern side for a tornado risk. This up here does not have much rotation at all. It looks like that storm over here near Arlington, Bedford, Colleyville, DFW. airport. Looks like it's getting a little bit intense there. No severe thunderstorm warning yet, but you can definitely tell it's trying to mature before it pulls into that boundary. As soon as it hits the boundary, though, it'll probably start to get a little bit weaker. All right, let's see what our latest is here. Yeah, still tornado possible. Still talking about 60-mile-per-hour winds being possible there as well. Are any of our storm chasers live yet? Just wondering. I know sometimes they go live early. And I'm sure they're all tired and getting some good sleep. Yeah, none of them are going live early, unfortunately. Unfortunate. By the way, if you're just now tuning in and you live in Pat Bays Lake and also Soper and Forney, Gay, Goodland, and Grant and Ord all need to be in their safe spots here. Our main area of circulation is back down over here near Garrett's Bluff and Belk, about to cross over the Oklahoma border. So we just got a new update on our tornado warning. Yeah, still radar indicated, so they're still keeping that up. But yeah, if you live in any of these areas here in Oklahoma and Texas that I just mentioned, still continue to be in your safe spots. The rotation is right here near Belk, about to move over the Oklahoma and Texas border. Evening from the UK. Hope I'm feeling okay. I would say I'm feeling meh, but I got just enough energy. I don't know. I think I'm going to take a lot of breaks today again, just like I did yesterday, because I'm worn down. And thank you, Czar, thank you for the 350 African money. I think that's what is that right? That's African money, right? But thank you so much for that. Connor Croft is going live in an hour, I believe, and thanks for warning our friends in Texas and Oklahoma. Yeah, no problem. The boundary is simple, actually. Oh, just got a severe thunderstorm warning back down over here near Glen Rose, Toller, and Granbury. Hail size of 1 inch. 60-mile-per-hour winds over there as well. So watch out there. Be indoors and away from windows. But yeah, I mean, the bottom line is it's pretty simple. We got cold air here. Cold air. Storms don't like cold air. As long as there's cold air, it's going to be hard for a storm to mature and go into Fort Worth because there's boundary here of cold air. Storms like warm air. One of the things that we're watching, though, is that there is going to be some stronger winds increasing throughout the day, and that might keep the boundary kind of placed stationary where it is for a little bit. That's kind of what we've been seeing here. If we play this in motion, you can see it's not really moved much in the past couple of hours. It does seem like, though, Fort Worth might be behind the boundary. Yeah, it does appear like Fort Worth is now behind the boundary, but you still might get some severe weather from our mergers in here. So we'll see. Thank you, Eric, for the $4.99. Thank you so much. It looks like we are 1 out of 50 on our super chat goal. If we reach it today, it is going to be me making a rap song with a weather rap song with Chaz Barks, which I think will be a fun project. Another little thing we could do with the members. We need to watch out for individual storm cells, right? Absolutely. But the thing is that if, like, as you can see with this storm right here, if it had a little bit more time out in the warm sector, it probably would have been severe and brought some hail into Carrollton, Bedford, and Richardson. But one of the things we also have to watch out for is as we get more mergers into this line, that cold pool is going to have more tendency to surge. And then once that surges, we could still see, some damaging winds maybe for Dallas. It looks like Fort Worth is out of the threat almost completely, other than just the merger threat. A storm might carry is a little bit more severe weather into past the boundary for a little bit, kind of like what this guy's doing. It's still kind of holding its intensity. If you get a stronger storm further to the south to form, and then it could maybe last just for a little bit longer there over the boundary. All right, let me get an update on this storm from our Durant radar. Yeah, I mean, still a decent little area of rotation here south of the boundary. I mean, south of the Oklahoma and Texas border. It's still like right around here. That area of rotation is right here. Still moving towards. Let me see what direction it's going. It's going to the north and east. I would say the rotation is about as organized as it has been, but it's still kind of on the weak side of things. I still want just south of Hugo near Grant and Gay, Goodland to still be in their safe spots because you're going to make a pretty close approach to that. If the boundary passes, you're good. I would say yes. Yes. You still might get some like lower end severe weather, but in terms of what we were expecting yesterday for today, it's going to be a lot less. Check back up here near Wilburton, Oklahoma. Yeah, still some broad areas of circulation up over in this area here. We were right on that boundary this morning. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the one thing that kind of concerns me a little bit about this boundary is how slow moving it is. You know, it is technically good news that like the boundary's over you, but it's also technically bad news as well. Because again, you see there's a lot of rain out there. Folks are getting a lot of rain with these storms. We're actually already starting to get flood warnings out over here in northern Texas, as you can see. Flower Mound, Coroneth, Gainesville, Whitesboro, Sherman, all from that heavy rain, and that'll probably spread into the Fort Worth and Dallas area if that boundary sinks to the south. So, pick your poison, flooding or tornadoes and giant hail. I personally would prefer flooding, but sometimes flooding can get a little bit out of hand. Hopefully that doesn't happen. I think Tyler we're gonna get anything damaging. Yeah, I think it's a little bit higher of a chance for Tyler, Texas to get a tornado threat later today. But that's gonna really be dependent on when this boundary really gets moving. Ground stuff. Ground stop. Oh, interesting. I'm still waiting for the latest radar updates on the Durant radar to come in. Has it come in yet? Come in any minute. Upload is tighter. No, actually, it's seems to be in the process of dying, as far as I can tell. Couple it. Thanks for being live. No problem. No problem. Yeah, that heavy rain right now is in Bedford and Carrollton. We're getting reports that we have a full ground stop over here near Dallas and Fort Worth. So if you're flying, you're going to probably have to wait until some of this heavier rain subsides. And then, eventually they are going to allow those flights to go again, but it might take a little bit. And that boundary right now seems to be situated, as far as I can tell, right in here. So if you're like in Carrollton, Euless, Fort Worth, looks like your guys' severe weather threat is dropping a little bit here. The longer you stay in front of that boundary, the better. But also, chances that you might see some hail later, or chances you might see some flooding later. Latest update on our storm here. Rotation is still south of the Texas-Oklahoma border. It's kind of over like a lake over here somewhere. There's a lake over there. Let's see, where's Paris, Texas? So yeah, it's like right in this region here, somewhere. Yeah, at Pat Mays Lake. It's right near Pat Mays Lake, and it is looking weaker than it was. It's now mainly just a little gust front. A little gust front, kind of pushing off, still steadily to the east. Going to be pushing into 271. It looks like. And nobody's ever said that to me. Said what? Oh. Can you draw? And I mean, go for it. Draw me as Moth Girl. Hey, I mean, you could do whatever you want. Do I want to see me as a woman? Not really. Not really. Oh yeah, Roy's got the wrench. You guys better be watching out. He's got the mod wrench from Timu, and that's just weird. All right, latest scan out over here, north of Paris. Still waiting on it to come in, actually. Yeah, still waiting on it to come in. Let's come back up here, update on our severe thunderstorm warnings back over here. Looks like our entire line now is getting severe thunderstorm warnings. Over there near Hugo Raton, Antlers. I got 60-mile-per-hour winds there. Back over here near Tuscahoma, Albion. Yeah, also have severe thunderstorm warning for 60-mile-per-hour winds. Wilburton, Quinton, looks like you guys are also in that same kind of warning. You guys need to be indoors and away from windows as the storm approaches. It looks like our cold pool is pretty much surging here. So again, our damaging wind threat will probably continue throughout the day as long, as long as that instability is out there, and it's going to be out there for a pretty long time. With mod powers, he has the power to delete his own message. Watching from Bama. What up? What up? Moderate scanned me. That's good for it to scam you, Kevin. I'm not sure if you know, but when the weather models scam you, that's a good thing. If you're forecasted to get tons of tornadoes and you get none, that's a good thing. So weird. Some people come into my chat sometimes. By the way, they let this severe thunderstorm warning on this storm expire. Some people come into my chat and they're like, "Oh man, all the tornadoes missed me, man. What the heck?" like it's like I'm not sure if you know this, but tornadoes are not a fun thing to experience. All right, little update on our warning down here. Still radar indicated as this pushes off to the east. Looks like our main area of circulation, as of our latest scan, is actually reorganizing a little bit. There, it is now located just to the south of here, like just pretty close to Chicota. Some pretty decent rotation is actually on this storm here, just north and east of Pat Mays Lake near Chicota. Chicota, just to the west of 271. And yeah, that rotation is increasing. Again, this right here, folks, is a radar hole, but there is a radar in Durant on an app. You have to download it. It's called Durant, or what is it called? It's called Durant Weather app, and it's a very high resolution radar, but it's a private radar, so you have to have their app in order to see it, which sucks. But it's a good radar and it shows legitimate data. And yeah, that rotation is right back in this region, and it does seem to be strengthening a little bit. We might be getting pretty close to a tornado there. And then further to the south, we also have we have couplets forming all along this leading edge. We also have another couplet developing right here near Hugo. We have another one just northeast of Paris, which is trying to build some strength there. It'll probably go north of Paris, and we got another one southeast of Paris. It's not as strong as some of the ones to the north, but it does seem like it's trying to tighten. So yeah, we had a couple of couplets here along this leading edge back down in this region. But they might not warn these because I'm not sure if they're using this radar or not, but hopefully they are, and we can get some good details from all that. What's the radar called? It's Durant Weather. It's a radar over here. There's a private radar company that's been selling radars across the United States, and they don't allow public access. I can't tell you how many of these news stations have their own radars that are really good in different random areas, but they don't have public access to all the data. It's really freaking stupid, if you ask me. Really freaking stupid. Because I don't know, that's just your first taste of what's going to happen when the NWS goes away. You know, private companies, they take over, they want profit, and yeah, they want profit, and they you know, they don't a lot of times don't share, because you know, when you have your own radar, it's yours. And so, you know, you have to download the app to access it and pay a fee or watch some ads, and they can make some money. If they give it out for free, then they make no money, which is stupid, because it's weather. Weather, you shouldn't be trying to profit. You should just be trying to spread the word. But, you know, it is what it is. That's the world we live in. That's America. All right. Over here near Wilburton and Quinton, still looking at 60-mile-per-hour winds coming through y'all's area. That line is about to come right into your area. Also back over here near Tuscahoma, still watching this area. The line, looks like our little broad areas of circulation have calmed down, though, on this northern portion. And then over here near Hugo, looks like that line of storms is just about to push in. Watch out. There could be a little bit of circulation near your storm. Wish we could get an eye on those guys, but all right. Wow, that boundary has now, looks like the boundary is winning the battle. Look at this. It is pushing south. It is making quite the surge south. A little merger seems to have helped move the boundary even further to the south. Wow. Lots of rain and flooding, though, is going to be very possible on the backside of this. We already have flash flood warnings further to the north. As this sinks to the south, those will sink with it. But your severe weather threat is going down substantially in Fort Worth. That's a good thing. You want the boundary to your south. Again, this is all cold air. You know, big, strong storms, they don't like cold air. So as long as you're sitting in the cold air and this big, strong storm tries to make it towards you, this boundary is going to act as a shield, right? That storm's going to hit it. It's going to be like, ugh, anchovies, and start puking all over the place. It's going to puke out a bunch of rain, and then it'll die because anchovies are just that bad. This is what the 10% hatch risk is for. It's conditional. The 10% hatch risk, they even talked about it in their latest mesoscale discussion. It really just depends on where this cool air sets up. Still could have, you know, a dangerous tornado threat further down to the south of Dallas, like near Cleburne, Waxahachie. But as long as this boundary continues to sink to the south, that's going to cut off the main severe weather threat for today. So still got to monitor that progress of that. Let's come back over here and check on our latest data on our rotations out here. It looks like the little rotation near Hugo has died. We got another one now in between like Hugo and Antlers, like right here in this area here, like right in there. Gonna head pretty close to Raton, so watch out there in Raton. That is the only one other than our main circulation that is still down over here, like right near Mid City, like right in this area, right near Mid City, about to cross over the highway, it seems, and it'll probably come pretty close to Shoals, Oklahoma. That's the latest there. And give some radar views over here for the folks over here near Wilburton for a little bit, and then we'll go back down to DFW and keep an eye on that boundary. NWS radar isn't free. Your federal income tax pays for. Well, it's about as free as it can be. I think the average person pays $4 a year to maintain the NWS from taxes, and that's something. Hail west of Fort Worth. Really? Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't rule out a little tiny hail. Yeah. You get a little tiny hail in there, like pea-sized maybe. Or like river oaks. But again, what yesterday looked like before all this happened was that we were just going to get big storm after big storm come through the Dallas Fort Worth area with some huge hail. But man, how many times does that show up on the models in the day of? It just doesn't happen. How many people we got in chat from Fort Worth and Dallas? Models be scamming. They've been scamming for the past couple of days. That's why I just haven't been releasing any forecasts lately because all forecasts have all been wrong every single day for like the past 3 days. So I'm just tired of it. I just wake up, do now casting, and figure out what the heck's going to happen just by looking at radar and do my forecast then because there's no point now to do a forecast the day before because it's always different from what the models say. Hey, so we got a lot of people. How many times last year? I want to ask the people that are from Fort Worth and Dallas. How many times last year did y'all get put under a big hail risk and nothing happened? I remember that being a theme last year. It was crazy. So many times. Like 5? Yeah. Yeah, it happens constantly. Yeah, it happens a lot. And I don't know what it is about this area, but that I remember that happening so many times because we've been doing nationwide coverage, and so every time that you guys have been put in a big hail risk, we've covered y'all's area multiple times. And I remember last year it was a bunch where it was like huge hail's coming, and then you guys maybe got like a 1-inch hailstorm. Yeah, I don't know what it is about this region, but it is hard to forecast. And I think a lot of your I just want to explain it to you. So now that we've established that that's happened, so what happens here in the Fort Worth and Dallas? Your severe weather risk starts when we're in mesoscale season, usually, unless we get a system. It's usually in mesoscale season, and models suck at mesoscale season. Sometimes they nail it, sometimes they don't. And so what mesoscale season means, so when we look at a weather radar, when you see that blob here, we'll come over and show you the blob. When you see a blob on the radar, this is about in 1 kilometer resolution, right? That's why it doesn't look just like the radar does, because the resolution is lower than the radar. So it looks like a blob instead of like a high definition storm, right? And so everything that's happening within the storm that is smaller than 1 kilometer, models do not pick up at all. It cannot bring any resolution to it. So it's not going to see any of that. And in mesoscale season, there's a lot of things happening that are in and below that 1 kilometer resolution. So all the models are missing those small details. And when you're in mesoscale season, which is just basically says we're getting a lot of small scale interactions that really make a big difference down the line. That's why this is happening. That's why it's so hard to determine what's going to happen in Fort Worth and Dallas. It's because of that. It's because your guys' biggest hail threats usually happen in mesoscale season, and the little tiny storm interactions like this storm yesterday started off as just a couple storms over here near Big Spring. Or not Big Spring, like over here near like, where was it? Yeah, Seymour, Texas. It was like back over here near Lubbock and Seymour, right? And then that brought a whole bunch of rain and cold air that eventually surged today into that boundary or into that warm and moist air. And so in order to get that right, the models would have had to have gotten the positioning of all these storms correct. It would have had to have gotten the intensity correct down below the kilometer range. And our models just don't have that. And so that's why it's so hard to forecast in Texas in general. But we'll see what happens. I mean, southeastern Dallas is still south of that boundary. Fort Worth, though, has gotten absolutely munched by the boundary. But watch out. A lot of rain and thunder is going to continue, and some major flooding is certainly possible in the region. Let's come back over here and check in on our tornado warning. Yeah, looks like our area of rotation has now moved over 280 or 271 and is now pretty much just to the east of Mid City. Looks like it's a little. Actually, we just got a new update. Where is that? It is pretty much just right over here to the west of Slate Shoals. A little bit of area of rotation. Also seems like there's some rotation moving into Paris, but that could be side lobe contamination. Just watch out there in Paris. If you see some clouds swirling, and then you hear some train noises, I'll just go into your safe spots. They might not even warn it because I'm not sure if they're using this private radar here. Back over here near Antlers, Oklahoma, there's also an area of broader circulation right south of this road, right in here near Della, heading pretty close to Belzoni. So just be ready to go for that. And then further up to the north, we still have these severe thunderstorm warnings ongoing in the Oklahoma area. Broad circulation still exists with these guys, but looks like our winds are about to push into Quinton, Will Burton, and just north of Clayton there as well. Again, all these are warned for 60-mile-per-hour winds, which are easily survivable storms as long as you are indoors and away from windows. You go outside, and you're not going to have any fun. It's not going to be a fun day. It's not going to be a fun time. Wait, what? Woke you up an hour ago, hasn't. Oh, yeah, starting to flood too. Yeah, that's the one thing. Lots of lightning is going to be happening in the DFW area. Lots of lightning. It's going to be plentiful. I'm in a slight risk, so I assume you're in the 5% tornado risk. I'm not in a slight risk. Where's Jim Cantori? I don't know. How cool would that be if he worked on this channel? I would have to give him a talk though before he gets onto my channel. Like all those big words like huge and massive, only use them when there's something huge and massive. Other than that, he'd be cool to have on this channel. He does get a little bit excited sometimes though, which is fine if it's like thunder snow, but if he's getting a little bit excited about a storm that's really not that strong, man, we're gonna have to have a talk. All right, latest scan. Looks like our strongest rotation is actually over here near Antlers now. It's not tornado warned, but there's definitely an area of some broad circulation here just south and east of Antlers. Still pretty close to Raton, Oklahoma. Wouldn't let your guard down over there. And south of Paris. Let me see what this radar says. South of Paris here. See if it's catching up on that. Yeah, it's not showing anything on this guy. Durant radar, though, says that there could be some rotation near Paris. None of these rotations are like super strong, by the way. They're just enough for me to call out. I'd be telling you to get in your safe spots if they were strong enough to concern me. Heiko, let me see. Heiko. Oops. Heiko. Shoot. Hold on. Heiko, Texas. There we go. You're back down over here. And you do got a storm on you. And actually, a little area of rotation to your west. A little bit of rotation over there. So if you live in Heiko, is it not strong enough, I don't think, to prompt a tornado warning? But, it would only take a little bit more to push that into a tornado warned storm. So I'd be at least alert and ready to go to your safe spots. You don't need to get there now, but, right now might be the best time just to make sure you got all your stuff ready to go. just in case. There's like no chasers online. It's still early in the day. I'm sure a lot of them are looking at the radar right now, being like, "What the heck, man? Again?" Yeah, you can see that boundary pretty darn clearly here on the reflectivity. I mean, on the velocities, it's like right in that region there. I think Amory, Texas will be on. What do you mean by be on? 2025 is starting out strong. I guess. I mean, we've had some pretty big storms. We've also had some storms. Oh, look, tornado warning expired. Nice. You still wouldn't let your guard down in that area, though. I still would not let your guard down on this area. The Durant radar has been showing not super strong rotation, but rotation along this line, on the leading edge of this line for a while. So just, if you live anywhere from Antlers down into Paris, Texas, I'd just be weather aware down there. New MD. Let me see. I think there's a button I can press. Control Alt. Oh, Control Shift. Oh yeah. Look at that. New mesoscale discussion. Yeah, most probable peak tornado. Okay, yeah. So they're just mainly saying damaging winds are going to be possible with this northern portion of the line, and maybe some tornadoes as well. Back over in here near Will Burton. That is where kind of our main, I would say, our main surge of cold air is. So that could eventually happen. It really could. We'll see. That's why there's a tornado watch out over here. Any one of these segments that bow out like this, they're going to have to be watched. Hopefully, they won't do anything until we get closer to some better radars. But yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a hit or miss kind of feel out over here near Fort Townsend, Wright City, Broken Bow. You might be like, what? I barely can see anything on radar. Why do I have a tornado warning? But that's how it always is in your area. And that's how it's been for like the past 2 years, 3 years, which sucks. I really do think they should put a radar like right over here near Idabel, like an actual NWS radar, but I don't think the NWS can afford it. Like some heavy rain is now starting over here near Dallas, Texas. It looks like that boundary might be sinking to y'all south in downtown Dallas. Pretty heavy rain, though, over there near Garland through Texas, south of Arlington, north of Mansfield, heading into Crescent as well. You guys still need to be, at the very least, indoors. It's not going to be super strong winds, not going to be, any very large hail and that, but it's definitely enough to where you should be seeking at least to be inside your house. Let me sit up. I've been slouching. I'm just so tired, man. Near Heiko. Yeah, I looked at that a little while ago. Let's check back in on it. Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why it's unwarned. It's because it's not strong rotation. You're probably waiting to see if it's going to strengthen or not. It's pretty broad there near Heiko. What will it be like by the time it hits to New Boston? Where is New Boston? Oh yeah, it's over here. It should be stronger line by the time it gets to New Boston if current forecasts hold. This because a little bit more cold air dominant than what was forecasted, then your severe risk will probably be teetering on dangerous and not dangerous. But most models still are indicating that this portion of the line intensifies as it pushes more into some warmer and moist air. Sun is south of this boundary, like near Waco, Corsicana, Palestine, Fairfield, Mejia, Teague, and Grossback. Definitely need to be, weather aware for a little supercell development and also for a strengthening portion of this line as we go throughout the day. On storm relative, and that's fine. I don't need storm relative velocities to tell you that this isn't very strong rotation right now. If you bring out your little measurement tool, you'll be able to figure out what the V rod is, and then you'll agree. Even on storm relative. Getting anything in my neck of the woods? Maybe tomorrow. Yeah, most likely tomorrow. I'm gonna be getting a little bit of severe weather. Got a slight risk for my area. We'll see what happens. Hopefully, it's not that super intense to where I have to go live. Because I don't want to go live tomorrow. I am tired. I need a break. Really like a break. And you can see that rotation near antlers now showing up even from far away. This actually might be legit. Wouldn't rule out a tornado warning on that near Raton. They also just extended this severe thunderstorm warning off to the east for Wright City, Broken Bow, Idabel. That's going to be for 60-mile-per-hour winds. Big rain night right now. Yeah, there's a lot of big rain happening out over in the Dallas, Arlington, Fort Worth. So please be watching out for flooding. I know this is kind of on like the intensity of storms where you guys are still probably going to drive inside of this storm. We're not talking about huge hail or a major tornado threat right now. So we probably still got a lot of folks on the road out there right now. So if you live in this area, if you're driving, just try not to float. And that's my best advice. No floating out there. Your car is not a boat. Car is not a boat. As long as you do that, I think you'll be all right. Getting loud? Yeah. Yeah, it's getting loud out there. Lots of thunder. That's one of the things. There's a lot of lightning and thunder inside of this.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
It looks like they did plop a tornado warning on that storm that we were just talking about over here near Raton, heading up towards Hanobia Creek Wildlife Management Area. So if you live over there near Hanobia Creek Wildlife Management Area, just be in your safe spots. Again, we're monitoring this area of rotation here just to the west of Raton. We can actually see it pretty well now on our radar, so make sure you are in your safe spots. I really don't think there's many people that live over here except for over here in Cloudy. Just be in your safe spots there in Oklahoma. And if you're just now tuning in, everywhere that's red here on this map, thankfully it doesn't mean hail. It just means really heavy rain, and all these little lightning bolts that you see, those are all little thunderbolts there. Yeah, let's go over here. Everybody's hyper fixated in chat on Hyco, Texas. Hmm. Interesting from that radar. Yeah, I mean, guys, this is still weak rotation. Come on now, we're not there yet. You guys gotta raise your threshold. If you're calling out bad rotation and the storm's not tornado warned yet, your threshold's a little bit too low. Thank you. Take 5 golf for the 5. I do appreciate that. Do I think any tornadoes will happen in Aledo and Weatherford, Texas? No, Weatherford. I don't think you're gonna get any tornadoes today. No, don't think so. Aledo for sure getting a few tornadoes. No, probably not. Is Aledo over here? They said Weatherford and Aledo. Hold on, let me see where Aledo is. Aledo might have just been a different area. No, Aledo's right there. Yeah. I mean, probably not getting any tornadoes today. No, not in Aledo. How long does this threat last? Honestly, just as long as you are north or south of this boundary. So here's our boundary right here. So it looks like looks like you still got Mesquite, southeastern Dallas in that, Midlothian over here near Cleburne, Waxahachie. Alito is gone. Oh my goodness. You guys are so overdramatic. It's gone. The rain. The rain destroyed Alito. It was just too much rain. The raindrops were so big. Now let's go check back in on that latest scan over here near the tornado warning over here in Oklahoma. Yeah, it looks like we're still dealing with some broader circulation down here near Raton. Still moving up to the north towards Hanobia Creek Wildlife Area. Seems like it's not as organized as earlier. Let me check the Durant radar. We might be just out of reach. No, I mean, it still shows a decent little area of circulation there. And just north of Raton. So, still be in your safe spots. How is every town in the U.S. looking? Well, when you really zoom out, they're looking pretty darn small. Pretty darn small, if you ask me. How's Terrell, Texas? Let me check. Yeah, it looks like you guys are still going to be in that tornado threat for today. Still going to be in that tornado threat until that boundary gets to you. You know, if you get all this rain like Dallas is getting, you know, your tornado threat's going to drop precipitously. As you can see, heavy rain is moving into downtown Dallas, Arlington, Fort Worth. Lots of heavy rain. Let's see how much rain y'all have actually picked up out of this. Oh, yeah, look at that. Over here near Flower Mound. Oh, never mind. That's not that bad. Like 2 inches of rain. Enough to cause some flooding out here. I know you guys don't need too much rain to get flooding. About an inch an hour, it seems. Which wouldn't do anything and wouldn't do anything where I live. But over here, that might be enough. What is it, a cap height? What is that? Cap height? Most of these storms, I don't even know. That's not an official meteorological term. It's been pretty dry. Yeah. Yeah. If it's been pretty dry, then this rain's definitely going to have an impact in terms of that road flooding. All right, let's come check back over here on our tornado warned storm over here in Oklahoma. Yeah, still looks like we have some broader circulation, at least on this radar. Let me check. Yeah. And also on the Durant radar here north of Raton, rotation is broadening out a little bit, but still it could try to get a little bit stronger again. So just in case it does that, I still want cloudy and Hanobia Creek Wildlife Management Area to be continuing to be in their safe spots there. Little update on our northern portion of our storm. Here with a severe thunderstorm warning, still 60-mile-per-hour winds inside of this thing near Chakota, Porium, Stigler. Still monitoring these broad circulations up here, but so far we haven't had any of them tighten up yet. I do these super chat goals manually and have us submit via Venmo. I don't know. I don't even know how I would do that without having to be like constantly altered. The only reason I like the super chat goals on YouTube is because I don't have to say it. It's just there. If you want to see it, you can. Like, I don't want to be like, hey guys, we're you know getting close to our super chat goal. Like while someone's sitting in their safe spots. I don't want to be doing all that, and I'd have to do that for Venmo. So what's Quinn Lawn look like at? All right, thank you, Double, for the 5. Let me check. Quinn Lawn, Texas. Yeah, you do got a storm coming your way. You got a storm. near Garland. As of right now, it's not severe warn, but it does seem to be picking up speed a little bit. It's been kind of stalled out. So we might start to get severe thunderstorm warnings on these storms moving off to the east. Check back over here near Heiko. Yeah, still broad circulation over there. Not too concerning at the moment. And thank you.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
Thank you, Short Line Rail, for the 2. Ratton. Oh, okay, gotcha. We just got a new tornado warning up here near Quinton. Got an area of rotation right here, a little bit broad, but there is some there. If you live in near Kinta, Whitefield, and Stigler, I'd be in your safe spots there. It would be in your safe spots. Just in case that does try to tighten up, it might, it might just die off, or there could be a little bit of something there. So if you live in Quinton, Kinta, Whitefield, and Stigler, just be in your safe spots there. So now we have 2 tornado warnings in the Oklahoma area. Thank you, Ministry, for the 2. Thank you so much. Will Houston be okay? Yeah, you guys should be. Will it hit Martinsville, Indiana? You guys do have a little bit of a tornado threat there in Illinois and Indiana. We are expecting some storms to fire near a boundary. Let me check to see how that's happening. Yeah, still not a whole lot of development out here. Yeah, just be weather aware. Some storms are going to be possible up there throughout the day. Thanks for all I do. Yeah, no problem. Absolutely no problem. Thank you guys for tuning in. I know my energy levels have been quite low, but I'm tired, man. Yeah, latest scan, that rotation has pretty much completely died off there. Pretty much died off. Still keep an eye on it there for Stigler, but that's good news. Hopefully it stays like that as it approaches Stigler. What's the peak of the storm time? It should be like after 1 o'clock should be the peak. All right, a little update on our tornado warning here. Still radar indicated rotation. We check on our, still north of Ratton. Here in Oklahoma, it's still broad circulation there and still relatively weak rotation. According to our latest scan from the Durant radar. Thank you, Matthew. I appreciate that compliment. Yeah, I mean, whenever I can, sometimes we get a little bit busy, so I can't do it all the time. But whenever I can, I try to answer y'all's questions as much as possible. Careful. Don't get your little foot stuck under the chair. What baseball team? You never heard of the Trash Pandas before? It's okay. No one has. All right, latest scan up here. Still very broad and super weak rotation here, just to the north and west of Quinton. No big changes over there near Stigler. And then back down over here near Abonia, or no, Honobia Creek Wildlife. Still a surge. Definitely a gust front still on this storm, but rotation is still pretty broad on it. Come back over here. Give some love to the Dallas area. Put this in play for a little bit so you guys can see how the storms are the storms are doing. Am I feeling better today? Stomach, yes. Mental, no. Feeling a little bit crazy today, not gonna lie. Really hoping that nothing serious happens. I'm definitely gonna be taking multiple breaks today, like I did yesterday, because man, I'm burnt out. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It's really hard to do this every day for 9 hours a day over like a whole month. Yeah, Trash Panda's out of Huntsville. Yeah. Chattanooga lookouts have a crazy photo. What do their photos look like? You've heard of the Trash Pandas? That is a stupid name. I still think it's a stupid name, even though it's a raccoon. I still think it's stupid. I've never watched a game from them though. It's like if you're gonna have like a baseball team name, you want to inspire confidence in your loyal fans, and having your name start off with trash usually doesn't inspire a lot of confidence. But hey, if you're good enough, then it doesn't matter, right? All right, still waiting on that latest scan to come in. I don't think we've gotten it yet. How's Tulsa looking? Looks like you guys are getting a decent amount of rain. Does seem though that these storms should miss you to the west or to the east here. So looks like it's just going to be mainly heavy rain up there, in or moderate rain, probably not heavy, up there for a little bit. Maybe a couple lightning bolts. Yeah. Well, it was fun hanging out with you guys today. It was nice meeting all of you.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
New tornado warning has been issued over here near Chitot. Oh my gosh, Chichota. Got a broad area of circulation here south of Chichota, in Rentisville. They've just done a tornado warning on that. Chakota. Shikota. Oh, okay. Shikota. Gotcha. That one's a tough one. I don't know where Lake Texoma is. Anything for Colleen and Temple, Texas? Yeah. I mean, eventually, this little boundary should convect some stronger storms on it eventually. And that will be your threat. But it's pretty slow moving right now, so it might be a little while before you see anything serious there in Colleen and Waco. Just now tuning in, we have 3 tornado warnings out here. One down over here near uh, Hanobia Creek Wildlife Management Center. Um, that's who needs to still be in their safe spots there. We got another one here where Whitefield and Stigler need to be in their safe spots. This one's been struggling with broad circulation, thankfully, for a while. So no tornado reports out of that one. And then this one also is struggling with broad circulation, even though they just warned it. In my opinion, I don't think broad circulation should ever be warned. I think that you should wait a little bit longer because sometimes, more than not, broad circulations don't produce. I usually wait for tighter circulations before I get concerned about a storm. But everybody's different. Usually Oklahoma is not this sensitive though. So I wonder if this is like Arkansas warning these storms. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I mean, eventually these storms will be able to produce tornadoes. Maybe that starts happening soon. Kind of hard to tell. Big Cove or Hampton Cove. Oh, interesting. You play golf near there. Robert Trent Jones. Thanks for the live feed. Yeah, no problem. I know a lot of you, I think, are about to go and into other places as we go throughout the day. So I just wanted to say it was nice meeting you guys. Always appreciate it when you guys decide to come over here for a little bit. Carrie Underwood is from Shikoda. Oh, cool. Nice hanging out. Yeah, it was. Really was. Obviously, I would have rather have been in with a not with nothing, too serious going on, right? I hate that it is it's usually always in bad circumstances. So, that's just how it is.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
New tornado warning has been issued. We now have another area of rotation over here, just to the north of this. Again, broad circulation. They are really sensitive. I mean, they really could have gone without issuing any of these tornado warnings. Maybe this one. I still agree with this one because of that Durant radar. But again, all of these rotations are pretty broad right now. This one is almost completely gone in Shikoda. Very broad. Looks like they're just being a little bit precautious right now with a lot of these warnings. Paris, Texas, nothing really going on in Paris, Texas. You guys are now to the west of that boundary. I still think some heavier rain could be possible and a lot more lightning eventually. But thankfully, you're not really in you're past your main risk for today. I appreciate it, Tanya. Thank you. Fort Smith. I don't know what state that's in. Oh, looks like it's in Arkansas. Yeah, Fort Smith. Eventually, you're going to be in the path of these storms. Right now, they're not very tornadic, but they might be in a little bit. So definitely be weather aware. I think we're getting a tornado in DFW. Honestly, unless this boundary magically lifts up to the north, probably not. Is it still signed for Heiko? Let me check. Yeah, I mean, some broad circulation is still in that area. We are getting some side lobe contamination, it appears. Something weird's happened. I'm not sure if that's a legitimate signal. Let me see how that's progressed. That might be somewhat. No. Okay, what about this? Is this legitimate? Yeah, that's out in the clear air. Some side lobe contamination issues with those storms. It looks like they did allow this tornado warning, one of our southern tornado warnings, to expire over here near Raton. And we still have very broad and kind of weak circulations over here, south of Clayton. Not going to lie to you guys. I'll just tell you how it is. Still broad and weak over here near Whitefield. And still very broad and weak over here near Shikoda. That's what happens when you warn broad circulations. Sometimes they do something, sometimes they don't. Is that my mom? No, I have no idea who that is. I don't know who that person is. It's okay. Honestly, very broad circulation. Chances of a tornado being produced within the next 5 minutes is about 0 there. It should pass Shikoda with no problems. Yeah, Fort Smith is eventually going to be in the path of these storms. As you can see on the map, there's Fort Smith. Play this in motion. The storms are moving towards you. Will there be a tornado threat? Probably, maybe, if these storms actually start to become tornadic. Yeah, it looks like they just allowed that tornado warning near Shikoda to expire. Not surprising. You just make sure it's not like a glitch. Yeah. Is there another storm heading to DFW? Nope, this is it. This is it for the DFW area. Just a lot of rain and thunder for most of the day. And I'm not expecting anything different. I think your guys' tornado threat is very low. Where are you hearing that information from, James? Maybe there's more atmospheric energy in Oklahoma than Texas. Absolutely. Well, I mean, there is some in Texas. I mean, this is where our main shear should be getting started. But there's just not these storms seem to be a little bit cold air dominant right now. They're not really pushing in to that warm and moist air, as much as, these storms further up to the north, but eventually they will. And eventually we will see some stronger storms, most likely, near like the Killeen Waco area, Corsicana, Tyler Longview, Sulphur Springs, Texarkana. All those areas are going to be, potentially see some tornadoes today. But it's just, again, it's a mesoscale environment. Some things can go wrong, some things can go right. All right, let's go check back over here. Yeah, still some broad circulation. Some stronger winds, though, are starting to pick up on the southern side of the storm. Still broad circulation. Again, broad circulation is nothing to be scared of. It's that tight circulation. When I start saying, okay, now we have tight circulation, that's when you should be concerned. But we're still at the broad circulation area of the storm. I still want Stigler to be in their safe spots just in case something does tighten up. Same thing back over here near Clayton and Tuscoma. Still broad circulations with it. CC? Who's CC? Oh, I know who that is. Never mind. Sirens going off in Arlington? Really? No way. Zero chance. That'd be hilarious if they actually did that. I wonder if they're assigning letting them off due to like flooding, maybe. No, I mean it's just a regular flash flood warning. Probably for hail. You guys aren't even any. No, there's probably like no hail. I mean, I'd be surprised if there was even pea-sized hail in here. We don't even have a special weather statement. It's just rain and thunder. Maybe they issued the siren for flooding. That's what I would think. If it really is happening. Yeah, I mean, I would not be surprised if the flooding was pretty bad out here. And we have a flash flood warning is rain gauge indicated. So it's not like a considerable flash flood yet, but it wouldn't surprise me if that, tipped over into the considerable type flooding. Because, I mean, we still got a lot of rain falling out here in the Dallas, Arlington. As long as you guys are north of the boundary, which seems like you guys are going to stay forever here in Fort Worth and Arlington and Dallas, or at least for this weather event. The main concern is going to be just major flooding as long as it keeps raining. All right, let's come check back in on our tornado warnings here. Still broad circulation and still some strong winds here on the south side, heading still towards Stigler. Still want Stigler in their safe spots. And then back over here, not a whole lot has changed yet with these southern areas of rotation. We are getting mixed signals from who? Let me see. I'll give you a signal that'll you can trust. Let me see here. Darwin, Oklahoma. Oh yeah, you're done for the day. that is 100% guarantee. You're done for the day. Have a good rest of your day. Glad you guys missed out. Not much capping this morning. Not that I am aware of. I don't think capping is going to be much of an issue. It's just really where our cold pool surges. We're getting, wherever that cold pool surges, that's where our, a little bit of a surface inversion will happen. And we do have a surface inversion here, but that won't be, as efficient at keeping everything at bay as our lower level jet increases, which it is. We do have 35 knots. all the way up into this area, reaching up into some of these storms into Oklahoma. So, I'm definitely expecting some storms to eventually become tornadic, but as of right now, they are not very tornadic. We've been seeing some broad circulations forever, but we haven't seen any tight or strong circulations or potentially tornadic circulations yet today. So even though we got tornado warnings, those are just issued out of caution, and not necessarily because a tornado was imminent. They do that sometimes. I don't know why they decide to do that. Sometimes, and sometimes they decide not to do it. It's weird to me. I feel like the Weather Service doesn't really give much information on tornadoes. That's why you've started to look for yourself. Oh, I mean, they do. Listen, the National Weather Service and the Storm Prediction Center, they're more like a data source to your local meteorologist, right? Or to a national meteorologist. So they don't really say anything in words that you can understand. They don't usually simplify it very well that you can understand it. That's mainly so. Think of the National Weather Service as like and the SPC as like the data, right? Or like a foreign language. Think of them like a foreign language, and then think of your local weatherman, or a your local weatherman, or whoever you watch for weather, as the translator. And it's pretty much our job to take that complex data and put it into the simplify machine and give you an understanding of what is going to happen in a way that you can understand it. So I wouldn't really rely on the NWS to give you data that most people can understand. If you want to try to figure out what's going on a little bit more simpler, I would look to a broadcast meteorologist or a weatherman or whatever. Somebody that understands it and can simplify for you. All right, looks like we just got a new severe thunderstorm warning out here for Warner, Gore, and Panama here in Oklahoma. Tornado possible tag, 60-mile-per-hour winds on it. Let's go check back over here near Stigler. Yeah, still broad circulation here south of Whitefield. Still want Stigler to be in their safe spots because, it's broad circulation, but eventually it might become tight circulation. So, and, you just don't want it to become tight circulation over you, right? Back over here, these rotations are looking pretty, I would say pretty melodramatic. Still pretty weak. 60-mile-per-hour winds with these guys. Been extended off to the east for 259 over there. So that is the latest information all across the board. And then back over here in the Fort Worth and Dallas area, the rain continues. Yeah, Blake, I wouldn't use the HRRR day of. It only helps for timing, but I mean today it's been completely wrong. Use radar omega, and I think it's simplified enough to where I can understand it all of the graphics and colors coded velocities are easy to understand. Yeah, I mean it's not a bad app. Radar omega is pretty nice. The only problem with radar omega is they haven't updated their app in a year, and their radar is consistently behind other radars. Like their velocities just one time. Oh, by the way, the southern tornado warning has been allowed to expire. But the velocities, one time we were behind 14 minutes, and they still haven't fixed that glitch. And then they also have something called anti-aliasing, which I'm not going to go into big detail with, because it's complex. But the bottom line is that sometimes it just gives you the wrong velocity data too. I mean, it's just they have some really annoying problems that they just refuse to fix, and that's why I moved away from radar omega.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
New tornado warning has been issued. Still have some broad circulation on this storm near Stigler. Looks like they are deciding to extend this out just a little bit further. Tamaha and Kyoto now need to be in their safe spots. Yeah, it's also not reliable in a tornado outbreak. When more people hop onto the app radar, Omega glitches like crazy. It's really bad. Seeing if any of our chasers have gone live yet. Nope. Nobody's live. Yeah, I wonder if any all the storm chasers are down here. And that I know of, most of them are here in Texas. I don't think many of them are in Arkansas. One thing I do want to do, or Oklahoma. One thing I do want to do is get my Arkansas camera set up here. So I have a feeling that some of my storm chasers won't even go live today. Probably quite a few of them might. They might keep pushing it back until something actually happens in Texas. This is eastbound near Fort Smith. I'm trying to find a westbound camera just so we can be ready to go as the storms come over here. Yeah, this one's westbound. Awesome. We'll get a good view of the storm with this camera. And it's not that complicated. You know, you got Kansas and then you got Arkansas. Yeah, we don't work with Connor. Yeah, max velocity is a little bit too much for me. He's too intense. He would look at this circulation and be like, "Oh, this was going to spin up any moment here. Watch out there in Stigler." It's like, okay, just calm down, brother. I just like to call it how it is. I cannot personally watch max velocity, but that's just my personal opinion. Some people like that stuff. I personally, it just annoys the crap out of me. Just call it how it is. Don't try to predict super far in the future. You don't know what's going to happen with the storm. Nobody knows what's going to happen with any of these storms right now. So, you know, all we can say is what it is, which it is broad circulation. If it tightens up before Stigler, it might be an issue. But just be in your safe spots, respect the tornado warning, and you'll be all right as it comes through. Ryan Hall, you know, honestly, I used to like be a little bit jaded towards Ryan Hall because he did all like the fear mongering and stuff, and he still kind of does the fear mongering with his thumbnails. But I mean, I don't know. He still kind of does it. Like he calls. I saw him call a 60-mile-per-hour severe thunderstorm warning a super strong storm. He does that quite a lot. And it's strong. Don't get me wrong. It's not super strong. It's not very strong. You'll be again, you know, my wording for it, which is I think more accurate, is it's a perfectly survivable storm as long as you're indoors and away from windows. Once you get up into the 70, 80-mile-per-hour winds, then you're starting to talk about a very strong storm. But in the 60-mile-per-hour winds, you're just on the lowest limit of a severe thunderstorm warning possible. So I don't know, but you know what it does do. You know, listen, watch this. Watch how your brain reacts when I change my wording from how I've been doing it, calm, relaxed, to super intense. Watch this. All right, folks. If you live out here in Talina, Panama, over here near Warner, Gore, watch out. We've got a super strong severe thunderstorm warning coming your way. Again, you're going to want to be indoors, away from those windows, closer to the center of your house. Over here near Stigler, watch out. Broad circulation. Oh man, this could definitely strengthen here the next 5 to 10 seconds. Could wipe Stigler. Oh, they don't do it like that. But they're like, Stigler definitely needs to be in their safe spots. You can see here we got really strong winds on the south side, really strong winds on the north side. This gray stuff here, don't look at that. It's, you know, it's not relevant. You know, it doesn't mean anything. Yeah, you know, it could wrap up here soon. If you live over here near Kyoto, Tamaha, make sure you're in your safe spots underground for this storm. Coming back down to the south, we have super strong storms down here. Very strong severe thunderstorm warning with an amazing 60-mile-per-hour winds. If you guys live in this area near White City, Wright City, Broken Bow, Idabel, you guys need to be indoors and away from windows. This storm's going to slap you in the face, toss you around. Make sure you are, you know, well away from those windows and super close to the inside of your building. You know, you see how your brain turns on there and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm scared. I got to stay here. You see how that happens? That's the technique they use. I don't like that. I think it's I think it's a little bit too much. Just calm down. Just calm down. Take a deep breath. I like that approach. And it's different approaches. Everybody's different. Some people like that really intense radar coverage. Some people don't. Or to your brain, I'm sorry. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You see how your brain got tensed up, your body got tensed up, like that. That is like what. That's what like like not. It's not just them though. I mean, it's local meteorologists do that too. I remember, we were over here. There was like a broad circulation, like pretty weak circulation over near Bentonville, and there was people still like coming into my chat, and they were like, "Dude, our local meteorologist over here is saying like that this is a tornado, and it could be PDS." You know, and so you know local weather stations do that. That's why a lot of people moved away from the Weather Channel because they did that. You know, so I've been doing just fine and surviving, just being chill. That's what we do over here. If things are actually looking intense, we definitely up our wording and up our intensity. But as long as everything is still relatively okay, we still keep it nice and calm and relaxed. Like for instance, we are still dealing with some broad circulation with the storm near Stigler. Most likely, I mean, definitely not a tornado on the ground at this moment. But I'd still be in your safe spots there in Stigler, just in case it does eventually wrap up. And thank you, Courtney, for the one. I do appreciate that. Yeah, James Spann. That's where I got, you know, the calm approach from, because James Spann, he is my hero, and he's just cut and dry with it. Like I think we got a severe thunderstorm warning over here near Puerto Rico. Something PR. I guess PR is Puerto Rico. No, flash flood warning in Puerto Rico. I don't even know my weather alerts got it from that area. That's pretty cool. Those alerts standard on weather-wise? No. No. That's my own custom program I made, and then the tornado warning box on the bottom, that was a custom made one from another coder. Yeah, it works. That's the reason why they do it. It just works. I think DFW is going to be good for the rest of the day. Yeah, I really do believe that. I do think there's like a small chance that we get some, you know, storms that might be maybe a little bit stronger back over here near like Breckenridge, and then eventually moves into DFW area. But you know, will there be like a very large hail threat with these? No. Will there be like a strong tornado threat with these? No. They're going to be removed from our main kinematics. They're going to be back in the cold air, so they might have some lightning. You might get a low end severe weather threat with like some of these guys back here, but you know that risk that we've been talking about being possible today has completely fallen apart, at least for the DFW area. Storm chasers that you were watching are heading to Tyler, Texas. Yeah, yeah, I do still believe like right out in this area is kind of a it's got a decent environment. You know, there's some potential there. We're gonna have plenty of instability. That wind shear will be getting a little bit stronger. The spin will be getting a little bit stronger. You know, if we can get mature storms in this area, we could definitely get a tornado threat there. All right. Change my title. Wee bit. Do I prefer weather-wise? I think weather-wise and radar scope, WSV3 do really good. Their radars stay up to date, and I rely on that in order to get the warnings out. If they're not in, if they're out of date, and the radar imagery is behind, it's not helpful. And Radar Mega struggles with that, especially when there's a lot of people using the app all at once. So, yeah, latest scan out over here near Stigler. Still very broad rotation. Definitely still not an imminent tornado threat right now. Also, some broad rotation is still existing or is kind of starting to develop over here near Warner, just given the fact of how skittish they seem to be in Oklahoma. I wouldn't rule out a tornado warning for that. Thank you, Riley, for becoming a WIMD member. Thank you so much. All right, let's go see if we can see anything out of Fort Smith yet. Make sure this is up to date by giving it a little refresh. Hey, when this happens, I lost where it was. Okay, there it is. Nope, not seeing anything yet. Yeah, NWS radar is free. Weather-wise radar is also free, by the way. You can pay for like the subscription for it, if you want. Gives you like globe mode and a couple extra features, but all the radar features on Weatherwise are free. No, I agree with you on that, Oren. Budget cuts are a little bit interesting. You know, definitely need more funding for the NWS, not less. Unfortunately, though, if the NWS crumbles, so will everybody else. In the no radar, no models. I won't be going live if there's no radar or no models. I will turn into a storm chaser and go out there. I will be going live, just not for like radar coverage if there's no radars. Rotation over here still continues to be pretty broad here. Heading over to Maha still. The only issue with the NWS radar is the lack of storm relative velocity. Yeah, I mean, if you're not, really familiar with radar and you haven't really been watching velocities for very long, you probably really need storm relative velocity as an aid. I don't really need it personally. Am I ready for hurricane season? I am. I am ready, but not ready to release a bunch of videos, calling out the misinformation. We get a lot of misinformation during 2 seasons where misinformation is really high. Is hurricane season and snow season. That's when the people really ramp up their BS like really bad. Like they'll put like a big old hurricane all over the Atlantic Sea, and like we'll be in the area of the forecast where we have no idea where the storm goes, but they still draw an arrow like directly at like New York City, or they'll be like directly at like Miami, Florida, and they'll be like, "Ooh, big question mark. Ooh, who's it gonna hit? New York City or Florida?" When we actually have no idea where it's gonna go at the time, and you're gonna see those pop up. Can't really do that with severe weather because it happens usually. You either get something or you don't, right? And it usually becomes very apparent, very fast, who is yanking your chain or not consistently. But for hurricane season, there's a lot more uncertainty, and so the fear mongers, like the big time fear mongers, that just spit absolute misinformation, like direct weather or David Schlotthauer or who else is one? Weather on the Go is a big one. All those folks, they really start. That's when they make their most money, just spewing absolute nonsense. Latest scan here with this storm near Stigler. Still very broad circulation, even broader than it was. So this storm is becoming less and less of a tornado threat by each scan. So we're probably going to see this tornado warning expire unless something improves. Sirens going off in Stigler, Oklahoma, and my son is at school in a storm cellar in Kinta. Let me see. Is that in this warning? Let me see if I can give you any peace of mind on that. Yeah. I think there was a tornado warning for Kinta earlier, but that has since been allowed to expire. So, I mean, they're not under threat for tornadoes. And in fact, the severe thunderstorm threat is over for them. Hydrate, yes. Got to stay hydrated. There's Radar Omega. There's WSV3. There is WSV3, Radar Omega. There's WeatherWise. There's Radar Scope. There's Attic Radar. There's about to be a new radar, maybe soon. No idea. Called Atmos Radar. There's a lot of weather radars out there. Are you talking about how many radars there are across the United States? What's happened so far? Mainly flooding. Tornado threat down here in Texas has not gotten started. Well, fine. That looks like side lobe. A little bit of side lobe here. What about this? No. Okay. If we get some contamination there near Cleburne. But yeah, tornado threat has not gotten started really anywhere yet. No reports of tornadoes. Just a couple of broad circulations and some 60-mile-per-hour winds. Into Oklahoma. Next in line for those winds are going to be Clarksville, Idabel, Broken Bow, back over here near Talina, Panama, Gore as well are going to be in the threat for some 60-mile-per-hour winds. So if the NOAA crashes, we have more. Oh, no. All those radar programs I told you about are just like the ones that show you radar. If you're talking about radars out there, no. If the NOAA crashes or the NWS crashes, all of our radars across the country go down. Because you got to think in the NWS office, the servers that transfer what the data the radars are getting to the public. That's all in the NOAA and the NWS and the SBC, all those little places within the NOAA. So if the NOAA goes down, no more radar data will be broadcasted. So the storm over here without the NOAA would look like this. There would be no storm. That's why people, are definitely, making sure the public is aware how serious it is to have them on our operating. Yes, they all use the NOAA info. Their radar data does not get broadcasted by anybody else but the NOAA. You need to learn to look out the window. Yeah, right. All right, looks like we just got an update on this severe thunderstorm warning. Still 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts possible into Broken Bow. Back over here into the Fort Worth and Dallas area. Still just a lot of rain and thunder. Heavy rain over here in Dallas. Still keep your eye out for that flood threat. That's the main moral of the story here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Burleson, Joshua, Cedar Hill. Flooding impacts are going to be increasing. Let's check on our latest flood warnings. Yeah, still talking about, no considerable flooding yet. But we do have some flood reports. Water covering Inwood Road between Loop 12 and I-635. Back over here, east of Plano, road closures due to flooding near Highway 78 and Century Way. And then we have road closure due to flooding near Coit Road and Lewis Canyon Drive. Couple of road closures out there. We just got an update on our warning back over here. Still radar indicated rotation. Let's see if anything's changed. Yeah, still broad circulation on this storm. Stigler can come out of their safe spots. Tomahawk needs to be in theirs. as we figure out if this is going to be the storm to start off our tornado threat or not. Are we getting footage on the ground? Eventually, yeah. Let me check in on our camera. We also are going to have a lot of storm chasers go live today, maybe. A lot of them are down in Dallas, so I don't think they're going to make the drive to Arkansas. They just might not stream. Oh yeah, I got to refresh this to make sure we're on the current. But this is going to eventually be our first view of the storms. This camera right here is looking to the west out of Fort Smith. And we should start to see the storm probably within 30 to 40 minutes. I don't think they're going to be live. If they go live, I guess they're going to be covering the flooding because they're back. If you come over to here, you can see Storm Hunter Media is back over here near Bridespart. And that might be not be accurate. If I had to guess, they'd be near Connor Croft because they usually stay near Connor. I think Connor Croft is in a good position here to maybe see some stuff like with these storms eventually. Any storms that form and mature out in front of this boundary, are going to be an issue for today. And eventually this boundary should, carry some severe weather with it as well. But they would have to drive if this is where they really are, which they might not be. It just might not be updated. They'd have to drive all the way to the south through Fort Worth and Dallas. By the time they get out over here, they probably have to intercept the storms near Longwood and like Texarkana maybe. And the storms would be like there by then. So I'm not sure if they're going live today or not. They might just continue to push it back. Or maybe they're just going to cover the flooding in DFW. I don't know. All right, latest scan here with this tornado warning. Still some broad circulation. Nothing has changed there. Still some broad circulation over here north of Warner. Nothing's changed there either. Further down to the south, not really seeing too much other than some damaging winds still about to make it into the Broken Bow and Idabel area. As well, and most headed towards the Waco area. Yeah, I mean, down over here. So our main environment for the day, I think, is anywhere south of this boundary. We get any mature storms out in front of here or in and along the leading edge of the line. We could get embedded supercells within our line, creating a tornado threat over there near Texarkana, Longview, Tyler. And any like discrete cells that can fire and mature here. There's going to be enough wind shear for them to potentially produce tornadoes, maybe even strong tornadoes as they move up into this area. And it's pretty much right here in this area and a little bit further north. We move this up to the north. I can draw that a little bit further to the north where our main tornado threat will be for today. Yeah, Hannah in Wolf City is okay. All she got today was some heavy rain, but her threat is now completely over. Ben Williams? I don't think I can watch Ben Williams, no. And honestly, I'm probably not going to spend any extra money on storm chasers unless we have, a strong tornado happening. To be honest, we'll probably just have the storm chasers that we usually have, and then if hopefully they chase well today. But I mean, oh, that's awesome. Glad to see that they had a good stream. Which direction is this moving exactly? You're in Gilmer, Texas. Let me see where Gilmer is. Yeah. So this line of storms back over here is going to be moving to the east slowly, and then these storms to your south of that boundary, are going to be moving north, out of the south to the north. So eventually, you will see something. If I had to guess, it'll probably be severe winds. Eventually, from these guys, and maybe a little bit of a tornado spin up threat. Seeing some broad circulations develop over here near Whitney. Some of these prefrontal storms. What's tomorrow's risk look like? Just a pretty broad area, slight risk across all the way from like the Texas area going up into Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, parts of Pennsylvania and West Virginia as well. A little bit of a tornado threat over here near Memphis, Clarksville, Evansville, Louisville. A little bit of a wind threat across that main area, and also a little bit of a hail threat with some significant hail possible down over here into parts of Oklahoma, Wichita Falls, Killeen, Austin, College Station. All that in Texas is going to really depend on just how far south this boundary sinks. Am I able to disclose average prices for chasers? Yeah. It's usually around $50 to $75 an hour for most chasers. Some of them can be higher though. Like if you were to get like a Reed Timmer, I think it's like way higher than that. I don't even know his prices because I haven't even asked him. Contessa, for the $5, thank you so much. Hope you got to enjoy the rest of your day work free. No, not really. I'm just too tired, man. I'm so tired. Yeah, $300 an hour. I don't even make $50 an hour. Sometimes I make $50 with 11 hours of work. Sometimes I make below minimum wage. So that's why, chasers, I have to usually find chasers that are like friends that I already know and use them because they give me like actual prices that I can't afford. But yeah, rotation's really broadening out. This is unconcerning here. They're gonna allow this tornado warning to expire. Yeah. Yeah, the chasers that I work with, like that I use on every stream, they're just friends. So I can actually afford them. But like, if I were to get like, let's say like a Brandon Kopic on my stream for the whole stream, I would owe like $700, and I very, very rarely make $700 in a stream. So like I'd just be giving them all my money. Except when tramp stamps are on the table. Exactly. When tramp stamps are on the table, the chat actually donates. But other than that, it's usually on and off. But they keep us alive. My viewers keep me alive, fed, Chaz fed. You guys do an amazing job. I do not complain. I do not complain about it at all. You guys do an amazing job. Close to Stigler. Will it hit south? No. I mean, it's going to have to improve its presentation a lot for me to be concerned about this storm. I think it's still worth monitoring these areas. Eventually these might become a tornado threat, but they are not a tornado threat right now. They're going to allow this tornado warning to expire unless some rotation develops again. I would determine side lobe so fast, just experience. I cover the most tornado warnings in the entire world every year. And I think I still hold that record this year. So I mean, I am the most experienced radar reader probably out there right now. It takes me like probably 0.1 seconds.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
Oh my goodness, man. I don't know why they are being this way with this storm. I'm sorry. There is literally no rotation on this thing right now, and they keep on warning it. I do not understand. Usually Oklahoma is nice and calm, and they're usually pretty experienced. I just don't understand it. But Vian and Salisol needs to be in their safe spots. Honestly, though, I would not freak out about this storm. The rotation's very weak and super broad. You hold the record for the least amount of tornado coverage, 0. There you go. Very nice. I'll make sure I call Guinness World Records for you. Maybe there's rotation aloft. And there's not even rotation aloft on this storm. Interesting. Where's the tornadoes? Nowhere. We've had 0 tornadoes today, which is not really a great ratio since we've had almost 10 tornado warnings so far today. 10 tornado warnings with 0 actually confirmed tornado reports really gives you an understanding of just how cautious they're being here in Oklahoma. It's like it tightened. Oh, still the same kind of rotation it's been. Pretty broad. But just be in your safe spots just in case. They must have some sort of reasoning for warning this storm. Just in case. They're right. They might be right this time. I mean, eventually, if you warn a storm that's in a tornadic environment for forever, right? If you just keep warning, eventually one of the warnings will actually be worth it. So maybe soon it'll start rotating. We'll see. Any giant hail? No. No, it's been a very lackluster hail day, thankfully. Some damaging winds, though, along the leading edge. Near Talina, Weister, Panama, back over here near Broken Bow, in along 259. Get this annoying acne. I'm gonna pop it. I got it. I'm just sick of rain. I'm just sick of storms. I'm not gonna lie. I want a break. I'd be totally happy if we had nothing happening today. I could have just slept in, and I really hate it when the NWS though is like super sensitive for some reason. This happens sometimes. I really don't like these kind of days because then I'm pretty much the whole day I'm just like, yeah, I mean, there's not really much rotation there. This is the view out of Fort Smith looking west. Still no view of our storm yet. What month does severe weather season end? It really never ends, actually. I don't look at weather models day of. I just look at the environment. So out there we do have 35 knots of shear overspreading our storms here. So eventually they might try to do something, but as of right now, what's kind of keeping them at bay is we have a cold pool of air surging in front of these storms in Texas. But these ones back over here, got to watch them. We come over to our lower level lapse rates. They are lackluster. That's another thing that's holding these storms behind. Maybe as they move into northeastern Texas, that could certainly eventually try to do something. Our where is it? Surface vorticity is strongest up here in Oklahoma, and our SRH is pretty decent down here in Texas. So things could get started eventually down there in Texas. Need to keep our eye on it. All right, maybe it's tightened up this time. A little bit of something developing here near Tomahawk. Still on the broad side of things, but there's actually something popping up here. So if you live in Tamaha, Vian and Salisal, you need to be in your safe spots. We do actually, they finally got it right this time. Maybe. I mean, it's honest, it's not concerning rotation yet. I will be honest. Not concerning yet, but it does tighten up. We'll start giving you guys the red alert on it, but just be in your safe spots for now. We'll let you know that there is a little bit of something happening. There might be something happening there. Tornado watch. New tornado watch has been issued. Let's go check it out. Graphic hasn't come up yet. Oh, wow, this is from damage from yesterday. Ah. I have to mute it because there's music playing. This is out of Springfield. Wow. Yeah, big tree down over there. Wow, multiple trees down in this area. My goodness. And they had really strong winds in Springfield yesterday morning. That was a storm. Ah. Oh, wow. Look at that tree that fell into that house there. Oh, my goodness. Lots of trees down. My goodness. Yeah, they had like 90-mile-per-hour winds in Springfield the other day. It's a very dangerous storm. Will this storm eventually hit Arkansas? Yes. Yes, these storms are coming for Arkansas. You can see that we do have tornado watches out there. They're Texarkana, Hope, Ashton, Nashville, DeQueen, Preston, Arkadelphia, Hot Springs, Hot Springs Village, Mena, Waldron, Boonville, Greenwood, Charleston, Paris. And I think Fort Smith is just barely in that. Possible rotation near Blum, Texas. Let's go check it out. Yeah, there's some broad circulation out here. It's not very strong. There could be a wall cloud under there. Yeah, also over here near Blum, little broad area of circulation. Yeah, lots of broad circulations down here right now, but it is these storms that we've got to keep an eye on. Or maybe a little bit of a stronger tornado threat. All right, let's come check back in with our tornado warning up here. Okay, still a little bit on the broad side, but do we still have some broad circulation here? It's a little bit more concerning, but you can still see that we have those grays in between. So still not thinking that's going to produce a tornado just yet. But if you live in Tamaha, Vian, and Salisal, please continue to be in your safe spots. I'm just gonna leave that alone. That is annoying acne right here. In Indiana, yeah, we could do that real quick. I have it up and ready, I think. Oh no, I don't really. That. It looks like storms are going to get started at around 5 p.m. in southern Illinois, and we could have some widespread severe weather near like Bloomington. Maybe some rain. This could be severe weather, but it's not really picking up as too strong of a signal. But maybe by 10 p.m., that's when Indianapolis's threat's going to happen, and it seems pretty uneventful after that. All right, still have radar indicated rotation on this storm. And do we have the latest radar scan? We do. Yeah. Still pretty broad and relatively weak rotation. The west of Tomahawk. Still radar indicated here on our tornado warning. I just can't help but pick at it. I need to stop. Hate act. I don't get it often, but when I do, it's weird. Africa has more tornadoes than anywhere? Really? I don't think so. I thought it was the United States that had the most tornadoes. Well, interesting area, broad circulation back over. It's like a little bookend vortex is trying to develop back over here. Check back over here near Texas. Yeah, still a couple areas of some broader circulation. Nothing's tightening up yet, but I'm going to keep coming down here and checking on those storms since they are trying to mature. All right, let's go check to see how our cameras are looking at. Can kind of see something back in there. I think that's just a cloud, though. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know much about the meteorology of Africa. It's snowing in Dallas. Oh, okay. Thanks for letting us know. Thanks for letting us know. Not sure if you guys know this, but a guy in chat says it's snowing in Dallas. His source is trust me, bro. But what's probably happening is he just scratched his head and some dandruff fell off. Thank you, Sassy, for the $1. Thank you so much. Everybody doing? I'm tired. Personally. Just tired. Yep. Yeah, verified by other people in chat. Yep. Hey, they didn't even get a a timeout. So no timeout, but they got a little bit of a diss. All right, over here near Poto, Cameron, Pocola, Spiro, parts of Fort Smith, Muldrow, and Salisal. You guys are now in a severe thunderstorm warning. And a storm's still trying over here near Tomahawk. That rotation just broadened out again. And I'm still keeping a close eye on it. Another little area of broad circulation might be developing back over here near Callington. Would not rule out a tornado warning on that storm, even though it's not really looking like much. Someone's calling me. Let me just make sure it's not something important. Hello? This is him. Who's this? Important. All right. Do we have any storm chasers live yet? PA storm trackers. Storm Runner Media. Nope. AG Tornado. Power is back on at our house. Power might not be back on at our house anymore. Or still, she was hit by by a derecho. Even though she was streaming in Texas, her streaming software is in Pennsylvania. Got hit by a potential derecho. 38 calls from spammers. My goodness. was that last warning we just got? Let me get my warning system set up closer to me so I can see it in the corner of my eye. That. 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 It's over here to there. Awesome. All right. We just got our first special weather statement for this line of storms over here. Does seem like it's getting a little bit more intense. We're seeing a little bit more on the DBZs over here, north and east of Sulphur Springs. Might be about to start to get some severe thunderstorm warnings here near like Clarksville and the Mount Pleasant area. Seems like the storms are finally starting to maybe access some of that instability. Yeah, still a couple of areas here, but appears to be rotation. There's like a lot of side lobe is near these storms, though. Lots of side lobe contamination happening there. And the thing that gets me with the scammers is that when their phone number is similar to something that I'm like familiar, like a number I'm familiar with, and I answer it, and then it's just like, they're just like, hello? Is this Evan? Oh, who am I? I'm Greg. Greg from Verizon. Just seeing if you wanted to buy some phones. You can block scam calls? How does your phone know that? Regular residents here. Thank you for your calm reporting on this. It helped. Awesome. Yeah, that's the whole point. That's the whole point. I don't want to send you guys into a frenzy unless I have to. Storms over here near Vian is still pretty broad at the moment. And I'm still watching this little area here that is also
A new tornado warning has been issued.
Pretty broad as well. I actually issued a. Oh, yeah. Yeah, latest scan on the storm. It does seem like there might be a little bit of a hook developing here, south and west of Covington, heading up towards Itasca. You see where that's actually heading, though. Let me put it in motion. Got a little bit of a hook and a little bit of rotation right here developing. Not very strong rotation yet, but I would be in your safe spots there near Itasca. Over there near Woodbury, Mayfield, Grub Hill, Lovelace, Mountain View, Carl's Corner, Covington, and Files Valley. Again, if any of these storms can become tornadic, we can't even rule out the potential for some strong tornadoes with some of these guys. It looks interesting, I will say. I mean, it's in the right environment. It's pretty close to that boundary, though. So we'll see if it can actually do anything. What the heck are you talking about, John? You're in Covington, Texas. See where that is. Oh yeah, you are. You're in the tornado warning. Make sure that you are in your safe spots there. there a tornado on the ground? Not yet, no. Radar indicated rotation right now. No reports that this is on the ground. Rotations that we are monitoring is this one here. And there's also a little bit of rotation back over in this area as well. We're keeping a close eye on both of these areas now. The latest radar scan came in, and it's looking a little bit interesting. Now, if you live over there near Woodbury, Tasca, Carl's Corner, in Covington, Texas, continue to be in your safe spots as we determine whether or not this is going to be the storm to kick off our tornado threat for today. It could be. This is the area that I am most interested in terms of our tornado threat. Albeit it's pretty close to that boundary, so it might fail, but it also might not. We'll see. Yeah. Shoot. What did I just... Let me mute that the alerts on my Google tab here, so I don't get double pings for each thing. Yeah. All right. Yeah, latest scan for this storm. Still some pretty broad circulation on this storm south of Vienna. There's still some decently, maybe some 50 mile per hour winds over here north of Tama. Also, still watching this area near Cowlington. It would not surprise me if we got a warning for that storm here shortly. Everywhere else, we're still talking about 60 mile per hour winds all the way from Broken Bow up into parts of Big Cedar here in Oklahoma, Havana, Worcester, Patel,
A new tornado
Panama,
warning
Spiral,
has been issued.
Cameron, Pocola. There's that tornado warning for this storm. Salisal, Muldrow, all need to be in their safe spots now here in Oklahoma. Also back over here near Tahlequah, we got another severe thunderstorm warning here for some 60 mile per hour winds. Going to be heading towards Paradise Hill and Hubert. It's for 60 mile per hour winds. Back down here, checking our NATO warning, see if we have any new updates here. Yeah, latest scan still indicating some rotation, but man, this thing is right on that boundary. Still no debris signature with this storm yet, so we don't think it's on the ground right now, but still a decent little area of rotation. Little merger is about to come into it from the south, so we'll see if that will help the storm or hurt it. Might need to ingest that merger before it actually spits out a tornado. They've also issued a tornado watch over here near Waco, Killeen, College Station, Huntsville, Palestine, Nacogdoches, and Lufkin. You guys need to be watching out for tornadoes. See what the wording is on that. We have the graphic. Yeah, so this is the wording. They're saying a few tornadoes likely. Scattered hail up to 2-inch sized hail is possible, and scattered gusts up to 70 miles per hour.
A new tornado watch has been issued.
Wrong scene. There we go. Press the wrong button. There we go. So for Corsicana, Waco, Killeen, College Station, Brennan, Palestine, Lufkin, and Shreveport, a few tornadoes are going to be likely. Scattered hail up to 2-inch size possible, and scattered gusts of up to 70 miles per hour likely. All right, so check back up and over here. It looks like this rotation is immediately doing what its brother is doing further up to the north. Immediately going into that broad circulation mode, but still keeping an eye on it. Nothing's really changed up here. So we got a new update on our tornado warning up here. Still radar indicated. Both of them are radar indicating, meaning that we don't have any reports yet that those are on the ground at the moment. We're keeping a very close eye on it. Let me see if I have any. I know there was a camera pretty far. What's this one? To the west in Oklahoma. It's a little bit closer than our. This is technically in the tornado warning. This camera is. I'll keep this up just in case. See you later, Sassy. Take a deep breath and just remind yourself you're not dying. That's what I do. It usually doesn't help, but sometimes it does. Not today, Sassy, I promise. He's got a new phone. Nice. 30 days until hurricane season. Yeah, it's coming closer. It is coming. Latest scan down here in Texas, and we got a mess in our velocities. And that's mainly because these storms are becoming elevated here as they pass over that boundary. So that storm has a lower chance of producing. This one over here, south of Itasca, though, still appears to be south of the boundary and still has a little area circulation in there. So if you live in Carl's Corner, please continue to be seeking shelter north of Carl's Corner. This is going to be going up towards the I-35 area, towards Mountain View here in Texas. Just in case folks in the Dallas area are wondering if these tornado warnings are coming towards them, no, will not make it to you. It's just rainy in Sallisaw. Okay, right now, good. Yeah, that storm is not there yet. There's some broad circulation on this guy near Sallisaw, but there's no tornado on the ground with it, and it's pretty far away from. It's got to change quite a bit before it becomes tornadic. There, it's just very broad circulation. A little water on me. Is it still snowing in Dallas? I don't know. We need to go. We need to go. We need to go. We need to go see what that one dude in chat said. Hopefully he's still here. Can I please add some hype? Only for a $50 donation. We don't hype for free. In College Station. Yeah, you got a tornado watch down there. Your threat's going to be coming later in the day. It really just depends on how far south
A new tornado watch has been issued.
Really depends on how far south our threat goes. Lapse rates are pretty low out here, so storms will struggle till those lapse rates improve. According to our latest models, they should improve at some point. Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. Or no, Broken Arrow. Broken Arrow is more near Tulsa, right? Yeah, Broken Arrow's got actually a little bit of a thunderstorm there. Look at that. Kind of just snuck in there. Yeah, no tornadoes on that guys. So you'll be all right. A little bit of heavy rain and some thunder. All right, are these storms going to start doing something? Thankfully not. Still talking about the broad circulation. Broad circulation moving up to the north and east. Still want Vian, Sallisaw, and Muldrow to be in their safe spots, but I think Callington is good to go. Yeah, Callington's fine. You guys come out of your safe spots. Other portions of this line, not seeing any dangerous rotations, but we are still talking about that severe weather threat over here near Broken Bow, heading up to the north here towards Havner as well, Worcester, Potow, Cameron, Panama, Spiral, Also, eventually Fort Smith, and 60-mile-per-hour winds also possible over here near Holbert. What'd you miss? Not a whole lot yet. Still haven't seen our tornado threat ramp up here yet. Yeah, these storms are now completely elevated, so they're gonna probably not be able to produce. Still a little bit of appendage potentially, just on that boundary north of Hillsboro, but tornado chances are going down with those storms right now. We'll keep checking on them though. Actually, we'll keep this down here for our latest scan. They're near Haskell. Thank you, Papa Smurf. I appreciate that. Thank you. Check over near Haskell. So we just got an update on this severe thunderstorm warning still for 60-mile-per-hour winds. So nothing's changed there. How close to these storms actually getting to Fort Smith? We might actually be able to see something from our Arkansas camera. Make sure it's current. Oh, wow. The first raindrops we've seen all day.
A new tornado watch has been issued.
See if I can see more details on that. Sometimes it takes a little while to come in. Oh, wow. Severe thunderstorm warning in Morgan County in Tennessee. A little bit of a severe storm over here near Oak Hill. Let me see where this is going. Also wouldn't rule out this northern storm becoming severe warned too near Elgin. They're near Huntsville, Tennessee as well. So we're dealing with mainly just 60-mile-per-hour winds and some almost quarter-sized hail. Check back over here with these storms, see if we're tightening up at all. Still broad circulation on both of these storms. Maybe a little bit tighter here south of Vivian. The crossover 40, but still relatively weak. Yeah, Milton was crazy. Milton was certified crazy storm. A little update on our tornado warning down here. Still radar indicated rotation. And as you can see, this is mainly just turning into a damaging wind threat. Outflow. It is now, all of the storm is north of the boundary. You can see that boundary is situated right here. And so now we wait for another storm over here near Waco or west. See if they're actually, see if we can get more storms to fire. It seems like the lapse rates are still keeping these storms at bay in Texas, though. We see when we are forecasted for those lapse rates to improve. And really not. Really not until ever in this portion. In this portion of the risk, our latest models are saying the lapse rates never improve out here, which means the tornado threat will be relatively low. But back over here, this is probably going to be our highest chance for tornadoes out there. If those storms can actually surge out in front of that cold pool that's still sitting out in front of them. Oh yeah, look at that rotation. Okay, so this is like the first rotation here we have seen with these storms that's actually been tighter. You see that we don't have a bunch of grays in between it. We got greens and reds right next to each other. Now the rotation's still relatively weak, but it is tightening up. So I'm a little bit more concerned about that storm. If we see that tighter rotation continue to intensify, that they're going to definitely extend this warning into Marble City, Oklahoma, and Pinhook Corner, Dwight Mission, as that is actually looking a little bit concerning. Thank you, Hannah. Yeah, you're good. You are good to go, Hannah. You're just getting light rain, and that's going to be all you're going to see. You might get a little bit more thunder back over here with these storms, but that's not going to be like a dangerous tornado threat. Maybe like a small hail threat there. You spread the word of Evan's gospel. What are you talking about, man? What gospel? Yeah, latest scan here, very broad. Circulation is back. That little tightening didn't really last long there, south or west of Vivian. New update on our tornado warning. Still radar indicated. Been around a lot, just been incognito. I feel that. Yeah, most of the times when I'm watching streams on YouTube, I'm pretty incognito. I just kind of hang out. Every now I'll say something, but then everybody in the chat will be like, "Hey Evan, hey Evan," and it's like I want to say hi to all of them, but most of the times I don't have any energy. There's people on Discord server claiming there's an observed tornado somewhere. Oh. You don't have any observed tornado warnings. Let me check. See if there's any like posts or something. Maybe somebody saw something that hasn't made it to the NWS. I'm personally not seeing anything. Let me like actually specifically search for it. Some random person on Twitter said a large tornado is forming right now in Hillsboro, Texas, but it's just like it's just a lowering underneath this underneath a cloud. Yeah, latest velocity scans you can see right there. It looks like something, but our main mesocyclone would be back over in this region. So somebody's claiming that there's a large tornado forming, but it doesn't look like here. I'll just put it in chat. Let y'all see it for yourself. Does that look like a large tornado to you? That's probably where it's coming from. Some random dude on Twitter. It happens. There's a lot you got to understand. You know, on these bigger days, a lot of inexperienced storm chasers go out there and they just report things that aren't true. So they get a little bit overexcited sometimes. I would just stick to like the people you know that are that are smart, like the Reed Timmers, the Brandon Kopics, the Vince Welties, the Connor Crofts, the Storm Runner Medias, those folks. The PA Storm Trackers, the Pagey Tornadoes. Yeah, latest scans up here. Still broad circulation in these guys. No tight circulations. Still no debris signatures on any of these storms. The observed tornado warnings from the other day were so bad. What do you mean? What was bad about them? Just jog my memory. What about Kaufman and Garland? Let me see. Garland, Texas. Yeah, you guys are good. Maybe some extra hail coming from these guys, but it shouldn't be like very large hail. Maybe just some small hail and some lightning and thunder still to come, but not expecting anything like tornadic up there anymore. Oh, scary. Ah. I mean, there's definitely a signal for something here, but it's really weird. I cannot confirm if that is legitimate or not. It's very side lobe contaminated. Let me see where Connor Croft is, just so I can look at his stream really quick. And he's over there south of Hillsboro. Let me see if Connor's screaming about anything. Need to make sure, because it looks like side lobe contamination to me. Yeah, he's repositioning. He's like behind the outflow boundary. Yeah, there's quite the stout. So he's just south of this storm, and there is a huge outflow boundary like in this area. So these storms, this little area back over here is definitely elevated, elevated storm. I'm looking at it right now. That outflow boundary, that cold air is extending all the way south of Hillsboro. Let's come back up. Yeah, we just got a new update on our tornado warning here in Oklahoma. Still radar indicated near the Fort Smith area. And very broad circulation. This rotation has gotten so broad. Look at all that gray in between. We've got like, let's see here. Let's count the pixels. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pixels of broadness. Wow. It's a lot of broad.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
They're still deciding to extend this tornado warning, even though the rotation has been broad for its entire life. Maybe this time, it will tighten up and produce a tornado. You live in Marble City, be in your safe spots just in case. We got to keep saying it, just in case. It might eventually spit out a tornado. What was that warning for over there? Okay, that was just tornado warning update. I wish Storm Runner Media would be live or somebody. None of my storm chasers are live yet, man. And did they not? They're not ready for today? Yeah, Storm Runner Media is live in 2 hours. I ain't got nobody. And I'm definitely not spending $50 an hour on somebody right now. Not on a day like today where it's just going to be maybe something happens, maybe something doesn't. PA Storm Trackers are still not live. I don't know. We might just have 0 storm chasers today. If a tornado comes down, I guess. Oh man, I don't really don't want to spend that much money today on chasers. I'm gonna be honest. We just might not have nothing. Yeah, we can't use Connor Croft. He's too expensive. He is too expensive. We used to use him. He used to be a bud, but his channel's growing a lot, so his prices go up and he became unaffordable. He grew faster than me. We did not grow at the same pace, so. No, don't even try. I have Connor's number. We've talked personally. There is no animosity between it. I understand it. He's growing. His prices are rising. My the amount of money that I have to pay for rising prices is not keeping up with that. So that's just what happens. That's how it works. So, but yeah, he's a great tracer though. Great person, great chaser. Yeah, I think they allowed that tornado warning to expire as that storm is now north of the boundary. So we wait again in Texas to see if the storms will do anything. We wait. Mm, mm, mm. Refresh the title. Die Hard. Rotation in Oklahoma may prompt a tornado warning. Let me see. Which one? I mean, there's like one back over here with broad circulation, another one with broad circulation. Yeah, I mean, in the way that they've been warning storms today, would not surprise me if those got tornado warned. They've just been warning anything and everything today. We have had about 12 tornado warnings in Oklahoma with 0 confirmed tornadoes. Yeah. Yeah, he will do that. Yeah, he's a good dude. Really good dude. Thanks for subscribing, Liz. Welcome, welcome. I mean, it'd be nice to have our regular storm chasers, but I got a feeling that Pagey Tornado is unfortunately still without power at her house. And so she doesn't even have a stream scheduled. So I don't even think she has the ability to stream today. Let me see where Storm Runner Media is. Yeah, Storm Runner Media, according to Radar Omega, is still in Graham, Texas. He might just be waiting for something, see if something bad happens in Dallas for flooding. I don't know. And the old Inswelty is all the way up here. Nah, Blum, Texas is doesn't have nothing. There was like a lowering near Blum, Texas a little earlier when the storm was south of the boundary. But all of these storms are elevated north of that boundary right now. So we are seeing these weird signals.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
Yeah, it looks like they did decide to issue a tornado warning here for this area broad circulation. If you live in Smithville, Nanachito, Watson, Beachton, and Plunketville, I need to be in your safe spots. This is actually the second time these guys have been in a tornado warning today. Radar indicated rotation there. Let's check our cameras. Are we actually seeing anything on our cameras yet? Let me make sure this is current. Maybe we see a storm. It's raining. Yeah, Indiana needs to be watching out. You guys got a little bit of in southern Indiana, a little bit of a 5% tornado risk. It's very conditional, but it's possible. Those storms should be getting started at around 4 p.m. Yeah, it's going to be raining in northeastern Oklahoma for a while. And then check it back over out of Arkansas. Make sure these are current. And it's just a lot of rain out in front of these storms. We probably won't see them until they're like right on top of the camera. Near Cincinnati, Oklahoma. Let me check near Cincinnati. Ohio. I always day 2, you have a severe risk. Yeah, today's risk over there, like near the Cincinnati area. Yeah, looks like you do have a little. Yeah, you're not. If you live in like Milan or like Osgood, you have a little bit of a tornado threat. But your main threats today are just going to be a marginal chance for some damaging winds and some hail. I have contact with Nick Smigo. I can use him, but he is. I can't get him hourly. Um, I think they are. It's a minimum of 4 hours, $75 an hour at $300. So no, that would be. Let me check. That would be over 3 times as much as I've made so far during this stream. So no, I would go broke. Yeah, latest scan on these tornado warnings. Now almost non-existent rotation exists on those storms near Salisal. Back over here, still very broad circulation. We are viewing this, unfortunately, from a radar hole, so there might be a little bit more rotation in the surface than what's being indicated here. But as far as I could tell, it seems to be pretty weak broad circulation aloft, which usually indicates that it's not looking so bad near the surface. But just in case there's a little bit more there than what the radar is saying, if you live over there near Honobia Creek Wildlife Management Area, just continue to be in your safe spots. You know, the donation drive. We got one going on right now, but I don't think anybody knows about it because we haven't been talking about it. Still has 12,000 people without power. Yeah, I don't think Pagey's going live today. Oh, thank you, Karen. I appreciate that. Yeah, I know. There's a little radar, private radar in Durant we have access to, but it unfortunately cannot see these storms. It's also, we have a severe thunderstorm warning now in the Arkansas area for Mena, Hatfield Cove, and Vandervoort. That's going to be coming from that storm back there in Oklahoma, and it's warned for 60-mile-per-hour winds. Hascam is free to use, but let me see what it is free to use, but but not free to broadcast. Unless it's like one of those, unless it's one of those, you know, government cameras. All government cameras are free to access and broadcast, but yeah. Latest scan here. It's still the same thing down there. No big changes. Further up to the north, yeah, still very broad circulation with these storms right now. So, I mean, I would say they would let these tornado warnings expire, but I mean, it's had broad circulation forever, and they still haven't allowed them to expire. They keep extending it. So much we can do there. And then back over here in Texas, still watching to see if any of these storms can mature before they hit that boundary. But again, lapse rates are pretty low, so the chances of that happening are going to be pretty low in this area. Now, back over here, the lapse rates are a little bit higher. So I am eventually expecting these storms to eventually become a little bit more of a severe issue as they approach Texarkana. Still pretty confident about that. Also, maybe back over here near Tyler and Longview as well. Lapse rates are important because they determine, oh my gosh, they actually let this tornado warning expire. Finally. So I got a feeling this one's going to go too. I don't know why they've been keeping those tornado warnings on that for so long. Whenever there is literally time. I haven't had any time to barely even eat in the past couple of days, to barely even enjoy anything part of life. I've just been here in my one room for about a month straight. I think we had like a good 3 to 4 day break, and then things got, active again. And looks like a funnel, maybe. And there's a little interesting thing happening near Mertens, Texas. That is here. Hmm. Looks like a funnel and maybe some ground circulation here near Mertens. Looks weird on radar. It's interesting, I will say. Definitely a funnel. It is hard to tell anything else though. There was a funnel reported near Mertens, Texas. I'll send the video to you guys. What I'm looking at here. Not enough information from that video though to say that it's on the ground, but I'd watch out over there near Mertens. Does seem like there's funnel capability there. And there might be a tornado warning coming for that. They usually don't issue tornado warnings for funnels, but I'm not sure if this video is going to be convincing enough to say that it's a tornado on the ground. It's really hard to tell. There's definitely rain wrapping around a center of circulation, but and there's like a little funnel there, but can't tell for sure. Definitely interesting, I will say. I would definitely be aware that there's something going on over here near Mertens, Texas, where there does appear to be funnels possible, and maybe even tornadoes right on that leading edge of the boundary. Might be trying to spin up something. Can't say that yet exactly. Looks like it's trying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's interesting. It's like right on that boundary too. So maybe there's getting a little bit of extra vorticity from that boundary. A little bit of an RFD surge might have happened there. It does kind of seem like it's trying there. Let me Connor should be nearby that area. Let me see if he's looking at that. Yeah, he's not near there. Never mind. Thank you, Mark, for sending one gifted membership. Thank you so much. I do appreciate that. Yeah, what's in Texas? Let me check this radar here. I mean, there is like this little tiny signal here near Mertens. That must be it, but that's in the clear air. This little thing back over here, there's not really much there. So it must be just like a little area of increased vorticity there where funnels are possible. But again, like I said, I just can't say for sure. Is to get one? I wouldn't say likely, no. These storms have been broadly circulating for a while. Eventually one might try. I mean, once the heavy rain starts in Fort Smith and then ends, like starts to calm down, like it should really pick up as this line comes through. And if you get that without getting a tornado warning, you're done for the day. Latest update on this circulation down here, looking really weak in comparison to what it did. Also, looks like you guys just got a severe thunderstorm warning over here near Fort Smith. That's going to be near Spiro, Cameron, Pecola, Rock Island, Midland, Barling, Cedarville. All need to be indoors and away from windows. You see, it's just kind of a big old mess of storms here. You can definitely tell that the cold pool is surging out in front of a lot of these storms. I think that's what's keeping our tornado threat relatively low. You see all that rain out there? That's all cold air. Now, you still could get some spin ups in here, but they're probably going to be super brief if they ever do eventually form. But we've had about, I don't know, like 12, 14 tornado warnings. Still no confirmed tornadoes yet in the area. So, not really sure. They're on the live cam for Sequoia County watch area. Yeah, we have a couple live cams in the Oklahoma area that we've been watching. They're all near Fort Smith, the ones that we've been pulling up. Yeah, this is Sequoia live cam. It's probably the same one you're watching. And we've been keeping an eye on it, and unfortunately, there's just been too much rain. We also have an Arkansas camera on the other side of the border that we've been keeping an eye on to see if we see anything. But again, just a lot of rain. They probably won't see anything unless the tornado, or if a tornado forms right on top of one of these cameras, because it's just too rainy to really see anything in the background. As their sirens going off and on repeatedly. Yeah, in some areas they'll sound their sirens like repeatedly for a long time. Some of them only sound them once. It just depends on where you live. Still no new scans there. Let's come back here. I do want to keep my eye on this little area near Merton. That was an interesting video. I won't lie to you. But yeah. Oh wow, we just got our first severe thunderstorm warning for this portion of the line. That's going to be for Pleasant, Dangerfield, Naples, New Boston, Texarkana, Queen City, Ashton, and Wilton. 60-mile-per-hour winds, tornado possible tag on it. Fortunately, we don't really have a radar very close by. Also got a severe thunderstorm warning over here near Corsicana, Rice, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts there. You see what I mean here in Dallas and Fort Worth? Probably don't have anybody watching from Dallas and Fort Worth anymore. But you see what I mean? That boundary sunk to your south, and it's just going to be rain for the rest of the day. Just some rain. Yeah, the Shreveport radar is good, but unfortunately, we've got a lot of side lobe contaminations issues right now from that radar. Little Rock has a little bit of a better view, but it's just a crappy view all the way around the board. And they did allow this tornado warning down here near Honobia. The Creek Wildlife Management Area can come out of their safe spots there in Oklahoma. You're still watching from DFW? Yeah. Thankfully those storms are those that boundary sunk to your south. Could have been dangerous up there, but it happens. Tulsa, Oklahoma. Yeah, Tulsa is where's everybody tuning in from, by the way? Yeah, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Looks like your rain's about to end. I'm gonna go use the restroom real quick. Give me just like 5 seconds. I'm back. You've been on this stream for almost 14 years. Wow. Have you really been live that long? I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Are we clear from Fort Smith? Oh my gosh, we have no tornado warnings. Everybody celebrate in chat. W's, fire emojis, party emojis, birthday cakes. Let them roll. L, hey, time out for you. You're going to sit in the corner for 10 seconds. I wonder if we've had any tornado reports yet. Tornado reports. Let's see what's hip happening on the. Oh my god! Wow, guys, look how incredibly active it's been today. Holy moly! It's been crazy out there. We have one wind report. What a freaking massive storm we've had. My goodness. One wind report. That's crazy, actually, because we've had severe thunderstorm warnings for a while. Holy moly. I've been so busy today covering all these crazy weather events today. It stays like that all day. That'd be nice. Some even say biblical. Some might say that, yeah. Yeah, the thing that's been helping us out, especially down over here, is our extremely low lapse rates, which means our updrafts are going to be really weak, meaning that our storms are not going to really be able to mature south of this boundary very effectively until those lapse rates improve. We do have some lower level shear, though, pushing into the area, so little spin up tornadoes are still going to be possible. Especially along this right side leading edge, but we haven't seen that really happen today, thankfully. Now, let me check on those lower level lapse rates, see if anything has changed. Yeah, still really weak out in this area, maybe improving a little bit down over here near Waco. It's got a severe thunderstorm warning on this storm near Gustine, Hamilton. That's going to be for $half sized hail. Wow, 60-mile-per-hour winds. That's the biggest hailstorm we've had all day. Yeah, today has been pretty lackluster so far. Not going to lie. Thankfully, that's what we like to see. What is the danger in the St. Louis area? Maybe some thunderstorms later on today. Come over to our models. You can see around the St. Louis area, there is a risk for maybe some severe weather, maybe a little bit of a tornado threat out there as well. Let me see if you're in that 5%. I think you are. Yeah, you're in a 5% tornado risk. Pretty conditional, but technically possible. Yeah, no tornadoes in Salisal. What's the danger in St. Oh, I already answered that. Apparently, Texas had a tornado. Yeah, we saw that video. It kind of looked like a funnel to me. It may be a tornado, but it just wasn't clear enough to be like, oh yeah, that's definitely something. So it could have been one. A really brief and weak one, maybe. It could have just also been a funnel. It's like a soggy day for you delivering food, probably. It's gonna be a soggy day for a lot of folks. Interesting thing popping up over there near the Queen.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
All right. Well, we just got a little tiny fraction here of rotation, and they have decided to throw a tornado warning on it, which has been the theme. Well, this actually turned into something here near Atkins. We will find out. I live over here near Nycut, Stony Point, and Coppic Slab. You'd be in your safe spots. Latest scan looks like that rotation died. I don't know why they keep doing this. Just wait a little bit longer. You don't have to warn every little teeny tiny circulation. I don't get why they keep doing this. Usually Oklahoma's been like really, really good about waiting. Maybe this is like Arkansas. Because Arkansas could be a little skittish. Yeah, they're being very cautious today. When you have, I think we've had, I forget, I don't know how many tornado warnings we've had, but I think it's around like 13 to 14 tornado warnings here in Oklahoma, and we've had 0 tornado reports, which is a really bad ratio. That's terrible. And the reason why that's happened is because they just keep like any type of little area of rotation that develops, they immediately throw a tornado warning on it, which is usually not the way to go about it. Usually it's good to wait until you actually see something, like something that indicates like a strengthening rotation. You really look for, like, for instance, you see this like green there, right? Now, let's say we had like this color of red. That's still not strong rotation. Probably not strong enough for a warning. Now, say we get up into this color, still not really strong enough for a warning. It's really only once you get, you know, into these darker reds like that. If we had this, I'd be a little bit concerned, especially if it was tighter circulation. And especially when we get this type of red near the greens, that's concerning. And then when those reds start to turn into like yellows, you have red and you have a little bit of yellow in there, that's concerning when they're touching the greens. But as you can see, again, we're back to like another non-threatening, very broad area of circulation, radar indicated rotation. Like you just gotta, their threshold is really low today, which it's interesting. It's usually not this low. So not really sure what's going on. Hand color is concerning, not really. It's still kind of low. Let's come back over here towards New Boston. Yeah, New Boston still has some damaging winds coming towards you. Still don't have a really great understanding of what the storms are doing nearby you. Ashdown, Texarkana still need to be in their indoors and away from windows. Just got an extension over here of our severe thunderstorm warning, 60-mile-per-hour winds. Heading towards Horatio, Locksburg, Mineral Springs, Nashville, and Dirks. And then over here near Mena, Hatfield Cove, and Vanderbilt here in Arkansas, still talking about 60-mile-per-hour winds coming your way. Same over here near Fort Smith, Barling, Greenwood in Arkansas, Picola, there into Oklahoma. And then looks like north and east of Tahlequah, same thing. I wonder if we've had any like reports of damage in that area. Yeah, we haven't had any damage reports with any of these severe thunderstorm warnings and no reports of winds of 60 miles per hour this entire time. That's a little bit wild. "24 warnings, tornado warnings? That would not be good. Are you calling me a bomb cyclone?" Yeah, that would be very bad. I think some of those one of the tornado warnings was down here. Yeah, 24 tornado warnings and 0 tornado reports. That is like that is definitely the worst ratio we've had all year. All right, latest scan here, still broad circulation over here north and east of Salisal, moving up towards Nycut and Coppic Slab. And it's going to have to improve. That rotation's got to improve quite a bit in order to produce a tornado there. Still kind of an interesting area back over here. Keep my eye on that. Definitely got a pretty decent inflow. A little bit of a couplet there. From far away on a radar, that's usually indication that there is some decent rotation in a storm. So I'm starting to feel it. Starting to feel it in my throat when I talk. Starting to feel it. A little update over here near Gustine in Hamilton, Texas. Still talking about that $half sized hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. That hail's going to be located right in here, and it's going to be heading over towards 2486. Yeah, the only damage reports we're getting out here is Storm Chaser emotional damage reports. You've been dropping my name over Facebook all day. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Hey, it's the Mama Fry. Yeah, she's not biased at all. uh, yeah, latest scan here, still very broad circulation on this storm. Check back over here. Do we have any storms trying to mature again? Am I losing my voice? I might be losing my voice a little bit. It is struggling. I'm going to turn down the volume of my voice. I'm going to turn up the volume of my mic. Because my voice is starting to struggle. There's just no if ands. Oh my goodness, it's bad. I might be losing my voice. I just hydrated. It did not help. Okay, no new scans on this yet. I mean, we have been live for like a whole month. So I'm here to report some vocal damage. We had a vocal damage report. All right, turn this back down a little bit. Ooh, might have to do TTS. No, I mean, I'm probably gonna take a break. I honestly, until we actually start to see some real dangerous storms ongoing. So that's what I'm gonna do, folks. I gotta give my voice a break. It's starting to give up on me. So let me give my voice a rest. And then if we, actually start to see some storms, like not just like, these tornado warnings in Oklahoma with broad circulations, that's not going to bring me back on live. I'm actually just going to wait until we actually have a storm that has some dangerous rotation. Um, uh, Probably right before it goes and touches down, we'll be back live. But let me rest my voice. It has been it's struggling. So thank you guys for tuning in. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Let me raid somebody. I don't know who we're going to raid, but we'll raid somebody. Let me see who's doing live coverage. See if Stormfront. Storm. Let's see who all's live. All right. That one guy I found yesterday. Man, out live. Okay, I'm just gonna raid someone random. All right, I'm raiding somebody random. Have fun and somebody we've never raided before. See you later.